Welcome back to day 2 of the main event, Checkmate Gaming Showdown for Roco Company. This has been an incredible amount of competition yesterday, and we are leading up into this top 4. Our winners bracket finals is coming up next. It's going to be Justus taking on Right Turtle, the two championship teams that have just shown time and time again that they have what it takes. Hello, I am your host for the day, Alex Irwin, and I am here with Fawn. Fawn, what do you have as a prediction for this match coming up, buddy?
Well, one of the biggest things that stands out to me is typically the ban rates of a lot of these two teams, right? I mean, one of the things is that Dahlia is one of the most contested, if not the most picked characters that currently exist in the game. But one of the reasons why I mentioned the Dahlia is because the fact that Saint had received some noticeable buffs that might push him forward to be a more likely contender to run on the team as opposed to the Dahlia. The change in perks and the overall flow of how his game plan is now, especially with the inclusion, obviously, of weapon mastery, which is something that we've been saying week after week, is something that really puts him in the spotlight recently. And
Yep.
I think that teams won't rely as often on Dahlia when you take into account the new changes that are available to Saint. So that's one of the characters, at least, I would imagine they would end up picking up today.
Well, let's take a look at their layout, what they're going to be playing on, see how these maps are going to play out. That is what it comes down to. The luck of the draw, essentially. Who's going to be strongest on these first 3 if they can take a 3-0 sweep? Palace demo going to be the first one to start off on. And with that said about their picks, what do you see being the favorite team on Palace demo?
Well, with Palace actually being into effect here, I am not necessarily too sure personally. I feel like Palace is a map that we've seen contested from a variety of different teams and a slew of a plethora of different teams that actually come into this tournament and see if they can actually benefit here. Palace is one of those maps where obviously you have a lot of cover, a lot of places that we've seen Lancer really shine. We've seen Runway shine here, especially on the demo maps. B-side is pretty contested, like I would say at least like 90% of the time. It really allows you to utilize your utility and your nades. The defense is going to be a little bit lacking when you do have to consider Runway into the mix. So I would imagine that since these two teams have played before and previously Right Turtle had ended up putting and beating Justus in the losers finals previous in the last CMG showdown, I will be interested to see what their drafts and how their strategy are going to adapt to one another again. I personally imagine there's going to be a Runway ban here. One of the two teams has to ban it. If not, I do imagine it gets picked.
Well, if it's any, judgment from what we saw from Slop, yeah, I could guess that there would be a Runway ban, but there's not. So there is going to be a Runway in play 100%. We could see Slop taking down, getting those early picks, right? Like a lot of those picks they don't capitalize on, but it's just so annoying to be down 3-4, 3-4, and Slop just being on top of it. The Ronin and Dahlia pick, though, pretty consistent as far as the qualifiers are concerned. That's usually what we saw. But in this matchup right now, we haven't seen too often in this month. So things have changed up. We've had a patch. We've had an update. So talk to me about this Dahlia Ronin on Palace.
Well, Dahlia to me seems like more of a target ban. That is like one of Prosper Logic's like most pick characters, right? I believe it's like a 93% pick rate for him or something of the sort. It's something that we've seen him really default to a lot of the time. And I'm not too surprised in terms of seeing it banned out. That's something that I wouldn't want to deal with either. You don't want someone to feel too comfortable on their own character, so getting rid of the Dahlia makes a lot of sense. And with that Dahlia in the ban column, it obviously leaves up and open to opportunity the Saint to end up getting picked out, which is why I had mentioned it before. I had imagined Runway was going to get banned considering the fact that it was Palace, but Dahlia also makes a lot of sense considering the fact that everyone doesn't have to put all their eggs into one basket anymore by making sure they lock in that Dahlia.
All right, well, we are jumping in. This is the first game of day 2, the 10K, the big main event for Checkmate Gaming Showdown in November. And we have got the Juggernauts, Justus, taking on Right Turtle, the Classico that we see every single time. And we have just gotten used to see these players. Obviously, I talked about it before the break. Who's dat coming in for Pulsa with still having the hand injury, hoping that he is well and is getting taken care of because we want to see him back in action. Pulsa is such a huge part of this team and their success. On the other side, though, there's been a switch in Justus this month. They have tried to get a very good roster locked in, and it shows. Inc. has been dominating, did so well in the last main event, but they're looking to be champions. They want to take this, and Pixie has been on fire. Gronky and Delana, obviously some of the best players to ever do it, are also doing great. Tell me about these picks, though, and how we're going to see it play out.
Well, I mentioned the utilization of Runway. Having her on Palace and running it demo especially is something that we've seen consistently throughout the weeks, throughout the months that since her release, right? Typically people would either ban her, and if she wasn't banned, she was picked. But Palace is one of those maps where it really can play hugely into the offensive side of Runway. So you have to have your own Runway to try and counter that out, right? Obviously, we see the Saint locked in as well. I believe after the buff, his pick rate skyrocketed, right? Like that's something that is more effective now, and something that I would imagine that we will see going forward throughout day 2 of today's tournament, honestly. And Seeker having the intel is, I mean, like once again, like this is a tactical shooter, right? Like it's going to be important to make sure that you know where people are at. Instead of running the double intel on one side, but running the Kestrel on the other, they are at least trying to see if they can sort of outpace them, knowing they have that runway on the offensive side. So with that, they're probably going to work together. I would imagine her and the runway. We'll probably see them together quite a bit on defense side.
Slop on the Phantom was so vicious yesterday in the semifinals. We saw him popping off. It was so great to see because, like, he wasn't hitting everything. Like, he was having a lot of moments where it was just dry run after dry run. He was getting very close headshot picks. But, yeah, he just kept it going and clutched up when it mattered the most. He came to life towards the end of some games and just absolutely crushed. So I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of shots he's going to be able to land here. Right now, he's trying to stay alive. He is down to a quarter of health, and he's going to just get pinned by Delana. Delana trying to play this corner, opening his head up to a headshot. Very confident decision out of Delana right there, just saying, nah, Slop, you won't peek, you won't hit it. Kind of baiting himself out for his teammate right there, but Slop didn't take the bait. But as soon as Delana gets his health back, comes right back into it, does get a beatdown off, but that's not going to be enough. The push is in, the bomb is down, and it is ticking. We have got 2 players here to make a play. It's going to be a kill for MS. Oh my gosh, and there we go. Get in, can't make anything happen.
Yeah, that seemed like it was going to be a really good retake for Right Turtle, but it didn't quite work out the way they were planning it to. I mean, obviously, Slop is one of the first ones that goes down in the engagement post plant. Bomb gets planted down with very little to no struggle whatsoever. I mean, like it goes down and people just accept it as what it is, right? We can play retake. That's what we're going to rely on. And since that is the case, that's exactly what we saw them do. So they planted the bomb. They played back as passively as they could. Meanwhile, Runway, I love how Runway on Justus played that because of the fact that he didn't want to overextend, he didn't want to peek. Instead, he was just holding the bomb side, making sure that was the case, right? He realized his teammates were dying around him. When that bomb gets planted, it's a race against the clock. It's not a race against the other team at that point. It's about making sure you can defuse that bomb in the appropriate amount of time, and their Runway already understood that and played it very, very well.
Oh, great cross angle. Almost takes down Pix, but Pix does escape. Going to be keeping this push going. Going to be on the front line with the snipe. I love the confidence. Checking the corners. No peeks in. Going to check flank. Pixie, known as one of the best snipers in the game. Up there with the talks of frag and, you know, the best of the best. So we're looking for some good picks here. Just going to have an eye on the flank while Delana is going to be up on the front line trying to get something happening here. They're moving in, and they're grouped pretty well. First one's going to be Pix, though. Takes down MS. Slop falls victim to a grenade, and that is going to take him out. MS also from the Simtex. 1 player left, going to be the Saint. Prosper landing some excellent shots. Takes down 2.
Yeah, it seems like they were really just overextending way, way too much. Like, they had ended up getting a little bit greedy. The bomb was in their possession the entire time. Instead, they tried to contest them and meet them halfway. I don't know why that was necessarily the option that they needed. When the bomb's planted, there's an entirely different game that you have to keep in mind and plant. Now Gronky has to retreat, actually plant the bomb, and force the timer out in a 1v2 situation. I don't agree with how they played that in the very beginning.
Yeah, it obviously did not work out. Gronky now trying to set up A very clutch 2v1. Who's that? Going to sniff him out. There we go. They're going to... Wait a minute. They're checking it, finally. Okay, they get in there, and they get the angle and get the pinch, and that is going to do it. Excellent job getting back after that, quick scare. That was almost... I mean, that was very much in the favor of Justus. That is just incredible what just happened.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it was the matter of trying to force things out and away from the team. I like how they actually tried to funnel onto site in that way. They were trying to force them out. They afforded so much space to them, right? Justus did such a good job making sure they forced them away from site, but then they started to take the fights and not go for the bomb plant. Instead, they tried to meet them halfway. I'm not sure what the idea was there, because they both swing the corner, as we saw already. Prosper gets 2, right? They swing around the corner, 2 of them go down, and now it's a 2v1 scenario instead, when they could have gotten the picks they were looking for and then proceeded to plant the bomb. It didn't work out for them last round, and I think they've learned their lesson. I don't think they're going to go for the same thing this round.
Going to see the ricochet shot, not going to land. Slop and Prosper playing that angle appropriately, trying to get some info through the smoke. Going to be 3 strong, though, here on B. Bomb is down and trying to make some opening happen. Delana getting this good intel off, can pretty much tell his team, hey, 4 here around this corner, set up the bank. Not going to land onto Prosper. Also playing his angle very well, but they've got to make a move quickly. We're already past the halfway mark. There we go. Ink goes down. Pix, he's going to get the shot on the Slop, but Ink is taken down. Pix gets the Simtex off before he goes down. Great trade, and now it is up to 1 more. That is Big Daddy Delana. Let's see if he can do it. No, not today. And we are seeing Right Turtle able to clutch it up when they need to the most. It is looking good for Justus a lot of the time. They get the early setup, they're good to go, and then something just gets lost.
And that's just optimization of the bomb timer right there, right? I mean, we're talking about them getting to the bomb at the last possible second. Saint understanding that he had enough time, Prosper, aka Saint, aka Prosper, understanding that he had enough time to make it to the objective, to make it back to bomb site. Instead, he swings around the corner, doesn't make it a 1v1, makes it a 2v1, so he can help out his teammate, right? Helps out the Dallas, helps out Who's That. They get the kill, they go back to bomb, and they defuse it right as it's about to blow up. Like we mentioned before, it is a matter of understanding. That's just how you optimize the bomb timer, right? I mean, you start things off making sure you get an earlier pick as soon as about at least at the halfway mark, as the bomb's ticking down. And then from that point on, you just play around your team and understand what you're doing. I love how they're starting this off.
What a team shot. Slop grabbing that one, grabs another as well. Slop starting this one off hot. And it's just over. Instantaneously, Right Turtle have understood what is going on. They've downloaded what they needed, and now they're just going to keep it rolling. Right Turtle are just out, shooting out, and they're winning their fights. I saw Justus execute properly in 2 rounds in a row, but it really comes down to being able to win these fights, and it's just Right Turtle that are just icing up right now. They are the champions. They've won the most. They are incredible, and they're showing exactly why. But the real big story for Right Turtle is obviously Who's Dat. Who's Dat played exceptionally well in the semifinals last night, and he is continuing that momentum here into this Palace demo.
And that's something it is that I loved how they played. They pushed by double doors. They made sure that they kept the pressure on them by their spawn. And not only by controlling that mid, you had to worry about Who's That playing up right where we see the Seeker playing right now. He's watching around the corner. He's keeping that pressure on them, because if they try and retreat or run back, they're running into Who's That. They've already found the damage that they need through mid. That is enough pressure for them to try and rethink their situation back up, but Who's That is already in a good enough position to start to take advantage of that. And that's just really well played. It took them off guard once, and it's just about putting it into the mindset of your opponent.
Slop pushing up. Going to try to get another win in here. They did it once before, and they played it so well. Who's that? That opening fragger has just kept it rolling. Going to take down Pix first thing. We see Delana drop as well. Here come the rest of the cleanups. And that is going to be Right Turtle once again executing the exact same play to perfection.
And I am just appalled by that, honestly. I did not think it was, not only did I not think the round was going to go that quickly, but more so, I was impressed with the overall utilization of, once again, their positioning. They understand what it is they need to do. They're giving up the bomb site every time because they know they can play retake. Justus, Roco are getting the bomb down, except for maybe the exception of one round it was that we had seen previously. You have one round where maybe things aren't as apparent, where maybe things aren't as black and white, where they don't put the bomb down immediately. Instead, they go for mid like we saw before. They flesh them out on the site, and it just becomes harder for that to be the case, right? I mean, like I said, B side is heavily contested. That's one of the sites that we typically see being utilized here. They all head over to A now, assuming that there has been some sort of change in plan, but it seems like Justus are they're just sticking with B.
The retake is very, very strong. That's all I can say. If you are looking from a perspective of Justus, you got to say, hey, you got to switch it up. You got to make a more aggressive play, maybe take some initiative on some moves, not just hold your corners and rely on winning the peak fight, but actually going after them in the middle of the retake. You got to match that aggression, or else you're going to get run over every time. And that's what I want to see from Justus and this new roster that they're trying to take their first main event with against the big, bad Right Turtle. Inc. Gonna open this one up with a kill, and that's exactly what I wanted to see. Pix also gonna get the down and the elim onto Slop. EMS gonna fight back, but that's Inc. going to take down the third. Last player up. Let's see if he can do it. It's going to be Prosper, and there's no time. Justus are able to get back into it and adjust accordingly, Fawn.
Yeah, Inc. started things off very strong by making sure he got that early pick. You get that pick, and then obviously now we're talking about a numbers deficit, right? Like, that's one of the biggest things about this game. It's not a traditional 5v5 game as we see with other tactical shooters. This is 4v4, so those numbers apply. Having a numbers deficit means that that's even worse when you're down a player, right? And so that's what they did. You see a lot of the times in this game, somebody gets a pick, somebody gets one, somebody might get two, and now all of a sudden the burners are on, right? They're applying as much pressure as possible, and that's exactly what we saw. Inc. manages to get one down. He gets that kill. He moves on to the next one, just like the rest of his team, because they're down 4v3 now. They get that kill. They clean things up. Doesn't matter about the downs. The numbers deficit alone is enough to know that we can get the trades necessary and we'll even things up. No issue. We can take the round based off of that. That's exactly what Justus did.
Who's that being a pester like he's so good at? Just trying to get a little bit of damage, a little bit of picks off here. Going to end that one. Slop with the pick onto Pixie. That's what you want to see. Winning those sniper duels. Delana going to get a down for himself. Who's that rolls in and takes care of the rest. So we do see some sniper play happening. They're starting to contest each other. And guess who's going to be winning that one? That's going to be Slop. Slop just on fire. We saw him yesterday just pulling off some crazy stuff. He looked like he was just vibing, really. He wasn't really taking it too serious, it seemed like. But as soon as he locked in and was hitting those crucial shots, that's when we saw the difference maker, and we saw Right Turtle pull away in the semifinals. And that is really what's going to happen here, too. If Pix cannot contest this runway effectively, either give Slop that room and give him the respect, or, you challenge and you hope to hit that shot, because he is just killing it right now, and they have a nice comfortable lead going into this next half. So looking at these picks here, we're still seeing the same. We got the Seeker, we got the glitch play, and what can we see here? Where's the switch up? Where do we need Justus to be playing different on this side?
Well, for one, they do have the defense at their beck and call now, since the sides have been swapped, just as you just mentioned. The half has already switched. Obviously, they're going to be the ones on defense now. The biggest thing it is that I would have to say for them here is making sure that they do sort of the same things that we see Right Turtle do before. They may have already been expecting it, but I don't know why they were so heavily committed to B half of the time. And this is one of those times where, once again, like Right Turtle are giving off the illusion that, hey, we're going B because we landed and you see the smoke trails coming there, but instead we're actually going to go to A. It's going to be a little bit of a fake here, and Delena's already in a good enough position to set things up.
All right, let's check out the strategy that Justus is going to implement on defense. Gronky trying to make a play inside. There's a lot of smoke down. Slop getting some shots through, but he gets taken down, by some beautiful shots from Pix. He is singling Slop out, and that's exactly what you want to see. We're going in on the hop. Ink just jumping in and going for that defuse, and there we have it. They are going to win a defensive play very, very convincingly against Right Turtle. So here might be the comeback.
It was a scramble after the first down. We had saw that once they had actually ended up getting that first pick, like we said before, they put the burners on to keep the aggression, yada, yada, yada. The point is that I wanted to make sure that I made was the fact that they went down earlier than expected is what Right Turtle seemed to have. That seems to be what the case was. Because once they went down, like a couple of them were off-site, they weren't expecting people to go down that quickly, and you see them scrambling to try and make it to the bomb. It's the confidence that Justus made it to site, and then as soon as they did, they just stuck they stuck the DT. They aren't going to fake it. They aren't going to try and bait anyone to look in or come their way. Instead, all they're going to do is just stick the defuse, have everyone else watch it, and Right Turtle has to scramble to make sure they get there to obviously make sure the bomb doesn't get defused. It gets defused, and now we're at a 3-5, but it was the unexpectedness of it all that Right Turtle just wasn't quite ready to find any benefit to.
A little bit of slow play to open this one up. Still some smokes down and creating a little bit of confusion here. Shots being laid down. A grenade gets the finish onto Who's Dat. The 3v4 not going to be capitalized on. He's right back into the action, and that's something that's very big out of Right Turtle. One of the biggest characteristics for me is just how quickly they can get their down teammates up, and it is just a very difficult fight to take down a team that is so coordinated, always playing together and very well. Ink here is going to be just watching the angle, getting ready for a play. No pushes just yet. Do they have the intel? Who's Dat does know there's one up there, and there is another. We probably have the angle to be able to see that player as well. And here we go, some pushes coming in. Prosper takes down Ink, and now they move in. MS and Who's Dat going to decide to put the bomb down. Pix is going to get a great pick onto MS. That's going to bring things... Oh, my God! Almost gets another. They're going to miss a very easy one. Grabs the no-scope onto Who's Dat. Let's go, Pix! Gets the elim off, and that's going to be a 2v2 with only seconds remaining. What a tremendous win out of Justus.
Now, once again, I was about to mention about the fact that, like, wow, this is really how I would have expected Justus to play this last half, right? Where we see the aggression coming through of them pushing them all the way back to their spawn. Things are looking more and more dire as time goes on for the enemy team, for Justus Roco. The Right Turtle, instead, they decide to push in and see if they can keep the aggression there. And that's what I don't quite get, is that at that point, it's just about making sure you plant the bomb. Okay, you hear the snipe go off. You already know it's going to be a very prominent thing. He has the bomb. Who's that pushes him around the corner instead of just planting? They still have to play sight there. Maybe it was the aggression coming in from the Dallas. Of course, we have the runway that is the one, aka Pix, that's making sure he's getting all of these snipes, right? But the biggest problem is the fact that maybe they were too worried about the Dallas that was also playing up on top of the rooftops with them that they had to answer to. Maybe that's why the push had ended up going through. Regardless, I feel like the bomb could have been planted a little bit earlier, but Justus, with all credit, are going to be able to take a round.
Ink opening it up with another grenade. Who's Dat being the first pick? That's just something you're going to see. He's going to be that guy that's trying to make moves. Slop does get a down, and Pix gets one as well. 3-on-3 for the time being. And now Justus with the numbers advantage, trying to get the res on the side of Right Turtle, and now it's back to 4-on-4. 56 seconds remaining to make a play here. Bomb is out and down onto the point. They're going to make a play for it. There's not going to be many players with an angle to get a contest off. MS does lose a chunk of health, taking some damage, and we're seeing Pix trying to get an angle here. Oh my gosh! Gets just immediately melted from the line. They fly in and take him down. And here we go. Only one player left. And that's going to be the runway. That's going to be Slop. Let's see if Slop can take on the 2v1. He's got 16 seconds remaining here. We've seen him do it in the past. This is no easy feat, though, when you're talking about the best players in the world. 6 seconds remaining to make a play. One down, on to Gronky. He's going to be running in, trying to make something happen, but that is just going to be too far away. And playing his life, the best thing he could have possibly done, just hide around that corner. You do not want to give Slop that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, he gets one down, and then obviously, at that point, it's like you just have to play the clock. Like, peeking out early and see if you can win a fight or doing whatever it is that you actually need to, that is not the play whatsoever. Like, I absolutely agree with, exactly, yeah. I absolutely agree with how they play that. I think that's probably the best case scenario they could have asked for, and because of that, they're going to be able to get that win. And Justus has been playing this extremely well, actually, on the defense side. Right Troll have been making a few small, minute mistakes that have sort of spiraled out of control into bigger plays that Justus take advantage of.
Pick's trying to get an angle. Not going to find anybody watching flank. Going to just 3P. See what he can find. Nobody making a play just yet. And the slow play still coming out from both teams as they start to learn each other's game plans and their tactics for the day. Having, the players switch up. These rosters, these teams, the team names are the same, but the rosters are not. There's going to be changes in the play style. It's going to be different. We've got a different comp as well. So different approaches to Palace Demo here, and the teams are still trying to figure it out. And now they're just slowing things down, trying to see where the push is going to come from. The bomb goes down. Great shots are being landed by Delana. Slop still trying to get an angle, not finding anybody. But the intel should come in now. Both teams should know where each other are. We've got 34 seconds left to make a play. Delana working this high ground. Pick's going to try to get a rotation in to look for a flank, possibly get a better angle. Some shots are being landed. And finally, Gronk is going to find Slop. Slop goes down, and the push is going to be good. Pix gets his own. Prosper fighting back, though. That's going to be a trade for Pix. And it is only one player left up to make something happen. Prosper can't get it done.
What a turnaround for Justus Roco. I mean, you can't ask for a better situation than that. You have pretty much all these kills lined up straight up at your doorstep. They try and see if they can rotate and see if they can keep the pressure onto the bomb site, but it's just not enough at the end of the day. I think that Justus have been playing this extremely well. They've been fundamentally outplaying Right Turtle as the rounds have been going on. It's become more and more apparent that a lot of these smaller mistakes, like a bad rotation call or not quite checking your corners or not expecting someone to be around the corner at a certain point in time, is really, really costing Right Turtle the games. There's the rounds, there's a lot of things that are slowly manipulating themselves and moving out of the way of Right Turtle's hands. Like such a prominent lead, 4-1, and now here we are, 6-5 in favor of Justus.
Justus keeping themselves composed and gets them back into this one, tying it up, now taking the lead. A good pick with the sim out of Slop. His sims have been on point. He takes down 2. Make that 3. Good Lord. Okay. Prosper winning his fight versus Delana. And that is going to just leave 2 here for Justus to make something happen. Slop hitting all the shots. Runway is left remaining. Pick's not going to be able to make anything happen, and we're tied back up. Back and forth we go between the 2 juggernauts in this winner's bracket finals of the $10,000 Checkmate Gaming Showdown for November. This has been one heck of a match so far, and if it's any indication of the day, I'm ready to see the rest. 19 eliminations from Pix. He is doing very well for his team. 19 and also 15 assists. Good Lord. The guy is just killing it right now. Really came to life with this runway, showing why it is such a crucial ban, especially on Palace.
Yeah. And I mean, we had seen it before. Like, these two teams have always been neck and neck. There's always been a very consistent back and forth. They have the intel they need, though. Motion sensors go out and they do detect that they are there. They are playing as passively as they can, but they are taking a more forward position. Who's that in such a bad spot? That is not where you want to be. That is, yeah. But there's no one to cover him. There's no one to trade him. Even if he did go down, that's too much to ask for, I would say.
That is the question. Who's dat? Is he going to get in there and create some separation? Is he going to get a trade off? Is he going to open things up? That really determines the beginning of these demos. So far from what we've seen in Right Turtles matches is that when Who's Dat is popping off and getting in there first thing, that's really when they're just playing the absolute best. We're going to have to see another round here. Oh, it's a 3v4. Right Turtle playing against the wall. See where the rotation comes in. They're going around. It was any intel grabbed right there? I don't think so. So no comms are going to give Right Turtle's position away on the A rotation, but they can hear it right now. Player going to be sitting next to A. Should be able to tell. There's been no intel grabbed. Okay, here we go. Finally, Pix is like, hey, guys, they're all over here. Get your butts over here. And then finally takes the shot, and they are ready. That's the good synchronization. Perfect timing by Pix, and they executed appropriately. MS does get one onto Delana. Excellent shots are being landed by Pix. He's not going to be able to grab it, though. Oh, the fights are coming out. Justus almost didn't take it, but the numbers advantage played too much for Right Turtle.
Yeah, that is exactly why I had mentioned it before. This is why I say it consistently. Numbers, like a numbers differential, a numbers like just having a not strong hold on your numbers. Like even having one gone is going to play huge into that, because by all intents and purposes, if it was a 3v3, they won that. They had just clutched that by making sure that they got the down on Pix, assuming he was the last one alive, right? With that being the case, it becomes an easy win. That is very well played by Right Turtle, but once again, there's 4 of them alive. One of them gets down, and you see that he doesn't have the time to commit to a bomb plant, because if he does, then he dies either way. So he has to go for the fight right there. It's why he didn't go for the bomb plant. He didn't try and stall out the timer. He knew that his opponent was too close to him, and by trying to give that up, you're not going to have an easy time being able to do that. You just have to concede what it is that you can in that fight.
Here we go. Justus trying to take it right now. This is it. Prosper going to be able to pick up one. MS picks up one. The fight is back and forth right now. 2v2. We've got a hot Pix trying to end this one. He is the top fragger for Justus right now. Same for Slop. It is mano-y-mano. Shots are being landed. They are evading the damage. Slop is going to get one down, opening this up. The 2v1. I'm sorry, 3v2 now. Coming in, and Justus have got this advantage once more, and Pix is going to connect with 2 and ends it. What a game out of Pixie on the runway.
Yeah, that was... I loved how Slop actually rotated around and manages to actually utilize the Simtex. He utilized the Simtex around the corner. He forces them out from their cover where it is they're feeling the most comfortable. They have to roll out. They have to back up. And in their retreat, he actually does manage to down and take care of Ink. That is best case scenario, but he gets picked back up immediately thanks to the Saint, right? So it's this very short-lived victory. And because of that, once again, they lose the round once more to a numbers disadvantage.
Such a dominant start out of Right Turtle. They just seem to have everything meshing well on defense. What do you think went wrong for them, though? I mean, it couldn't have just been the switch, right? It had to have been something a little bit more crucial, because it was all over after that. Justus got a feel for it on defense, and it was nonstop. They were making sure to have those numbers advantages. They were getting great picks. I mean, sometimes it could just be picks being hot. Was that it? I mean, he got like a tremendous amount of picks.
I mean, I would say that at the end of the day, Right Turtle had, like this, for example. I feel like this was the downward spiral, was this fight and engagement right here. In that situation, you have to either plant the bomb or look for a different opportunity or not try and push him as frequently, because you those small mistakes like that, because Delana is behind him. He's like, okay, well, I have to already push into pick, see if I can get the kill, see if I can get what it is that I need to at least try and see if we can even this up so we can just turn and burn Delana. But how do we even get in that situation in the first place? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, they already had a down beforehand. They were pushing into their spawn. They did a good job. A couple of times throughout this match, not only was it Justus, but we are also talking about Right Turtle doing the same thing, where they aren't putting as much emphasis on the bomb plants. They aren't putting as much emphasis on keeping that aggression with the bomb. And so since that is the case, there were a couple rounds where the bomb just went unplanted and the person with the bomb died. So now retake is almost nigh impossible. Now we can't get the bomb back. Now we can't see if we can actually manage to plant it. It's just not going to be looking that good for the team that is in control of the bomb. So I feel like it was a lack of objective play a lot of the time, because we saw it happen on both sides.
Well, next is the respawn, and that is one of the most difficult game types to take down Right Turtle. They just win those gunfights so often. And here we go. We have already got the bans for our next. It is going to be a Windward Koth, King of the Hill for this one. Dahlia and Glitch. Glitch, do we see that too often on our Windward Kings? I don't believe we do.
Well, the most interesting part about this is that Windward is actually one of the most prominent and well-played maps that Justus has had. Like, it is definitely their best map, especially when it comes to King of the Hill. So if I was Right Turtle, I would be a little bit shaken in terms of how they're going to have to clutch this one out, right? Glitch is a character that we do see getting picked often, which is why we see him in the banned column here, because of the fact that, once again, you have to deal with really stalling yourself, right? Like, he gets around any corner. It eliminates the possibility of a flank, because if he has it open, they're going to realize that, like, hey, like, somebody's near us, right? Like, if it's a Lancer or anything of the sort, Glitch opens up his ability, he activates it, and you'll see that there are people that are surrounding you. It gives intel, it stalls people's pushes, it hurts people's defense. It overall is a great ability to utilize, and that's why I think that we don't see Glitch as prominent as before. We don't see Glitch in this map specifically.
All right, we've got the Mac in play. Mac so far has been very prominent in our last main event, and so far November has been played quite a bit. We are seeing it prominently in a King of the Hill as far as picks, and does pretty darn well. Right Turtle has been pretty attached to that pick. This is a comp that they have been running pretty consistently. What do you think about that strategy for them, using that light bomb?
Well, I would have to say that I think that possibly the Flash is one of the lesser known abilities in Rogue Company. And what I mean by that is that people don't really put a lot of stock into it, because we have seen Mac before on these respawn game modes actually utilize that to a huge degree. And we're seeing him being picked up a little bit more in the more frequent weeks, but we don't see people playing him before main stage. We don't really see that happening a lot. The last main stage in October, we were seeing Mac being picked consistently, and that's something it is that I physically remember seeing. It was the overall consistency at which they ended up picking him, the comfortability that we saw a lot of these characters, the comfortability we saw a lot of these players actually utilize with Mac, and I think that it's something that is so unbelievably important. And I'm actually glad to see him here, because I think that he has such huge value when a lot of teams haven't really been locking him in like that.
Well, like you said, Windward, King of the Hill, is going to be Justus' best map. This is their best King of the Hill, so we are about to see something great here, trying to make this big upset happen here in the Winners Bracket Finals. It is a best of 5. Being up 2-0 would be just fantastic for them in this new roster. MS coming in hot, though. He's going to lay down some great damage here with his teammates. Good team shots, and he pushes, grabs the kill onto Ink. MS playing lights out right now, getting in here, staying alive, trying to mitigate any damage he takes, but the nade was just too good. Great placement out of Delana. Who's that going to lose his fight? A little uncharacteristic out of him. He has been on fire this weekend. But we are talking about Justus here. Finally, some real good competition that we're seeing. And they're getting a very hot start. 7 seconds remaining in this hill, and the rotation comes out with a little bit of garbage time grabbed up from Gronk.
Right now, things are becoming a little bit more challenging. The point is being contested, so it is hard for them to find their opportunity. I love the weight on the side of Right Turtle right there. Such a really well played push right there, really well timed. The flash goes off, and it does manage to blind too. So right now, it does stall on their push and gives Justus teammates time to play retake.
Just got word that this is the first time in 2 months that we don't see Scorch or Vi banned in a King of the Hill, which, you know, for obvious reasons. You just want to make sure that you grab that, you know, you have that Scorch banned because that's just free hill time. And obviously the Vi with tons of poison being able to be put down. But these comps, though, coming in are not really going to show that. They've both got their ways that they want to approach this, and it's working pretty well for Justus so far with this Mac. Ink going to have to back down here. The rotation coming out as the final seconds of the hill are grabbed up. MS going to get the opening pick here during rotation, so that is going to be essential. MS doing big things for Right Turtle.
Right now, once again, the flash goes off and manages to catch two. They are still in control of the objective, though, and this is where things come into play. You've gotten the kills. Now, how long will you be able to hold on to the site? For now, it seems like Right Turtle are doing a good job of making sure they maintain this control over C site here. But giving it up at this point means that this deficit, this lead, is going to be a big one. They do have Scorch on their side, so obviously the Incendiary won't play a huge role into this. They can't really flush them out of sight. And every single time, playing retake on this site, playing retake on C, I think, is some of the hardest retakes to actually play. There's so many places you have to be concerned of in order to actually try and see if you can get onto the site to see if you can even contest it, overtake it, whatever the case is. Typically, we've seen a lot when people control the C site that most people don't really take it back like that. It's difficult. It's really hard to take back.
Right Turtle just got in so early and knew exactly how to hold it, and did so very well, grabbing a big chunk out of that with some huge wins. They're winning all of their fights right now. Getting that anchoring down towards the back of hill is always going to be essential, and MS was just clutching up some big shots. So we're seeing exactly why it's tough to take down Right Turtle right now. It's because you've got to win these fights. You've got to be taking down these players in these crucial positions, and MS is just being an absolute bully.
Yeah, it seems like right now that things are becoming more difficult for Justus to try and see if they can manage to even this up at all. They are not in control of the objective, so it's going to be even worse for them to try and make it onto site, especially with him playing that far up. They may have gotten the trade, but still the time and point lead is in Right Turtle's favor. That's exactly how you have to play that too. Playing up and making sure that you stall people out. Even if you get one down, that's one less person they have to worry about on the respawn or trying to play the retake, right? So it makes the people on site have a little bit of an easier job. Although they are in control of it, another 20 seconds, they could force out the OT here. They know that Dallas is down here. They just have to swing them together, and that's pretty much going to be curtains for him.
Slom opens it up onto Ink. Time is a-ticking, and they're going to make a play. Prosper picks it up onto Pixie. MS with the Simtex, and we are rolling. There we go. Right Turtle just lock in towards the second half of that round. I mean, they were back and forth in the beginning. Justus were having a pretty good look as far as how aggressive they were playing. They got on the hills early. They were winning some early gunfights, but ultimately it was just Right Turtle who were able to get those early rotations off, get into a good placement, and just bunker in, really. They were getting some great picks and winning these fights, and it was crucial. Great shots by Who's Dad working this corner here. That was a very tough one to push into, and Justus just couldn't get it done. Hopefully they can make some adjustments now that they realize the play style that they're up against. Right Turtle playing so quick. Got to make these decisions fast on the rotations. MS going to get the first pick onto Delana once again. It has been the MS show. He is just always winning that one out, not taking the trade, staying alive. It is impeccable right turtle play.
Great utilization of the utility there as well, forcing out Dallas to leave his cover from the comfortability of his own spot. He has to roll out, and of course he ends up getting killed because people are already watching that angle, right? 27-4 right now, another 20 seconds, and they will at least be close enough to even things up, I do believe, as things are going to be mostly centered around the next objective that'll spawn here. Depends on who makes it there first. Currently, Dallas is here, but the Ensign makes it harder for him to do anything. He actually still held that. I don't agree with that. I definitely don't think that that's how you play that. If he already took the opening damage like that, there's no reason for him to still stay there. He has to concede that. It's better than dying in that scenario and giving up more time to the opposing team.
Wait for your teammate. I mean, why couldn't you just let his shield or his health regain and just play it a little bit slower? Exactly what you said there. I don't agree either. Maybe it's a little desperation. They're feeling the heat right now. The pressure is on, and trying to get that early rotation is really what's winning Right Turtle the game. So he knew he was in a crucial fight. He was trying to make something happen, and it just did not work in his favor. Great stuff out of Hudat. We saw many times that when Hudat is coming out on top, he's winning these rotation fights, that Right Turtle are playing the best they can possibly play. That's what we focus on. Is Hudat going to be opening things up for his team time and time again? And we just saw a crucial fight one against Ink, and they are still having control here. MS going to take down 2. Ink and Pixie off the grid. Cronky fighting back, taking out MS, but the objective is still going into Right Turtle's.
82-39 so far. Who's that? Manages to find a good opening kill. They still have control over Seaside, and the Incend is going to stall things out a little bit more for the boys in blue. Now they have to find some sort of way to overtake here. They do have Seaside controlled on the side of Justus Roco. The point lead is still in favor of Right Turtle, but that might change. A kill for a kill, an eye for an eye, as they still have not given up the site yet. Enough utility is going to keep themselves in control here. Plays by the staircase and manages to get one. Emis manages to find Ink. What else will he be able to notice here? You hear it ticking. It's revving up. That flash is going to come out soon, but not before Right Turtle overtake the objective here. That is going to be their best look and opportunity for themselves on Seaside and maintain their lead here on Windward. This is definitely something that I would absolutely keep in mind for the opposing side. Slopodopoulos so far doing well, making sure that he's keeping an eye onto Pix and still trying to keep the damage available to him. 5 seconds still remaining on the objective right now as things are becoming a little bit more dangerous. 116-72 now. We've activated the last hill that will be D-site available to him. Slopodopoulos manages to get one on Delana, but not before they kill 2 of them on the side of Right Turtle. He was not ready to run into trouble. Gronky, Ink, both of them find themselves 1 kill apiece, and that means that a 3rd one goes down thanks to the contesting of mid-site. Pix is the next one that falls. He respawns, moves in, and gets sent back to playing Gray Screen Simulator. You've got already plenty of control and time on the side of Right Turtle. Ink, what will he find? He manages to get Who's That and still tries to keep the pressure on. They're trying to see if they can force them out and away from this objective. Delana goes down on 2. You still have an opportunity to see if you can play retake at least one more time. The clock is ticking and the points are becoming full. You only have 10 more seconds left to afford to Right Turtle here. Justus Roco doing their best to try to play retake. They pop the Mac and they see what they can do. The immunity, thanks to the scores, they managed to get one. Delana Pix also fall, and Slopodopoulos tries to see if he can get another one, but thankfully the Dallas is here to save the day. S on the chest, because that was a Superman-esque play to make sure that he can actually control that site. 145-90 so far. Manages to get Prosper on the incoming as well. You've got OT and you've got plenty of opportunities to find yourself a better chance to hold on to this. All you have to do is make sure that you put your best foot forward. You have to maintain the control over this site, and it looks like just as Roco are doing it.
Fundamental Roco is being played right now, but it has gotten opened up, and some crucial shots are being landed by Prosper with 2 kills. The Kestrel is going to come in and take down one. Oh, on both sides. Slop comes in and takes his. He's going to pick up two, and that's going to be a trade out of him. Hustat runs in, and they take the game. That was almost a big win out of Justus, but Right Turtle are just the iciest of Roco pros. They are insane. That was an amazing end to that game.
Yeah, that is definitely how you play that mid, I would say. I think things were looking a little bit dicey the longer it went on. They tried to hold on. I love, once again, we had saw it on Palace in a different format. It's about optimizing your time, playing the optimization that you want to be able to have, right? We saw it happen on the side of Right Turtle when there was only a couple seconds left. Saint was holding the bomb. The Saint was holding the bomb on Palace on the side of Right Turtle. They're watching, seeing what they can. Prosper sitting there, swings around the corner, gives his teammate a 2v1 instead of the 1v1 duel that they were hoping that they would end up giving, and then sticks the bomb in the last few seconds. That's what we saw right there. The Mac planning down his ability, waiting for it to pop. The minute it flashes, everyone pushes in, right? And just at the perfect time, too. The score was sitting at 144. That is how you have to optimize not only your play style, but make sure that's how you look at it as a team, because you can't ask for a better opportunity other than that.
Speaking of opportunities, Justus just lost their best King of the Hill. They have really got to lean on these demos.
They do.
There's 3 demos to play in this best of 5. They got to take them all at this point, because Right Turtle are just so darn good at this situation right here, getting that retake when they absolutely need to, when every single fight matters the most, and they are just, they have that moment where if they lose, that's it. That's the round. That's the game. That's when they play the best, period. I watched every single round yesterday, and when Right Turtle is in that situation, they're not going to lose their fights. So it's really going to come down to the demo for Justus in this matchup right now, because that was just unreal. They took that Windward King of the Hill 2-0. Just beautiful execution out of Right Turtle to make things happen. Just incredible aggressive play, jumping on those hills first thing. Love to see it. So now they're tied up. Right Turtle get right back into this one, and now we're seeing a Canals demo with Glitch going to be the pick for Justus, and then Ronin for Right Turtle. What do you think?
So that makes a lot of sense too, because Glitch is a character that is great at making sure that he's holding mid. They're making sure that he's holding by factory. It's one of the single most points that you'll see a lot of people try and come through. It's how flanks happen. It's how retakes happen. There's so much that you have to genuinely keep in mind. And I think that's the biggest part about it, is making sure that you keep that pressure on people through mid. Glitch eliminates that. Glitch pretty much keeps that out of the mix, out of the way, out of sight, out of mind. And it makes it that much simpler to be able to hold on to, fam. Like I think that is a great opportunity to sort of see, to sort of understand why people are banning that. And Glitch is one of those characters. Ronin, obviously, for her buffs it is that she received a while ago, but still new to the game overall, not being able to be revealed on maps and things of that sort means it's hard to keep a pin on her, and you don't want to keep that in mind at all. So out of sight, out of mind, same thing for both of those characters.
All right, players are joining in and getting started in this map number 3. This is really getting down to the wire. Like I just said, Justus are going to be needing to take these demos right now. This is a big deal. Go into that game 4, Palace King of the Hill. We already saw just some crazy picks happening, from Right Turtle, right? Like they just know how to play some Palace King of the Hill, no matter what. So it's really going to rely on this game 3 and game 5 for me. I think we're going all the way down to it. Justus, they've got this new roster. They've been working it out, but they haven't faced against the biggest hurdle yet. This is it right here. This Winners Bracket Finals, going into the grand finals of a main event, a 10K, is when you're going to feel the most pressure, and that's when you test this new roster to its full potential. Does it have what it takes to go all the way to a championship? We will see, though. This is an incredible matchup so far. The best map, though, from Justus, that's kind of telling. That's going to be a little bit of a chink in the armor. It's going to be like, well, we felt good about that game number 1, but then all of a sudden, our strongest king of the hill is taken away from us. What gives? Right Turtle coming right back into this one and doing an incredible job. Let's see how they're going to be able to do here in the demo of the winners bracket finals, game number 3.
Yeah, I will also be interested to see how this is going to end up playing out as well. You mentioned it before, just as we both have, the fact that that was one of Justus's more prominent maps, a map that you wouldn't have expected them to lose on King of the Hill, and that ended up being the case. Now, Right Turtle, for them to be able to beat them on that map, a map that they are accustomed to, a map that they've done the best on, is now in the back pocket of Right Turtle, which means that I'm imagining they're carrying some of that momentum over into this next game as well, with having the Talon, the Dallas, the Dahlia, the Kestrel on one side, and then having the Talon and Dahlia so far hovered on the other side. What we see an exact mirror is looking like an exact mirror right now. As the Talon, I imagine, has to be, yes, like it's going to be something that's going to be locked in 100% of the time. It's important to be able to have that radar dart and making sure that you keep an eye on Factory. When Glitch gets banned, Talon does Talon does a good job as well, right? Like it's about making sure that you keep an eye on that mid, making sure that you keep an eye where you need to be able to see people coming from. So,
yep, whatever your opening's going to be, Talon is going to help you to cover that flank and just creates a more comfortable game. And it's very consistent on canals to put it on the side of the boat, right in the crack. Or make sure to go Factory, like you said. Talon is a pretty easy pick. And obviously, got the Kestrel, we've got the Dahlia and the Dallas, and a very, very nice mirror match. It really is just going to come down to execution. What is going to be decided from Right Turtle on attack? Where are they going to go, and what are they going to do? Here, they're going to all take the line, looking like, and they are going to group up heavy here and making their push towards B.
Yeah, right now, Pix is the only one that's there. It seems like they weren't quite expecting them to be there because 3 of them had rotated off. Now they're on their way back. The intel has been spread. Now they know, they are aware of where they are going to go to. I wonder if they're going to try and cross over through mid to see if they can flank out. No, that's not going to end up being the case. Instead, they're going to stick to their guns and stay on B side.
Instead, trying to get a little intel on the back. I'm not going to find anybody back there, but good to always check it. Pixie going to be evading some damage here. We've got a reveal for half a second. 50 health, jumps up and takes the fight. Does land some good damage, gets a team shot off with his teammate. Ink moving on in. Does get 1 pick, and he is going to get put down. 1 player left. Going to be the Dallas for Justus. He's going to see what he can do here. It's going to be Delana making his way in for the 3v1.
Yeah, that is really best case scenario, right? Like, you have a situation where not only do you force them out and away from cargo, but you push all the way towards their spawn. You get the kills, and you have 2 that are there. You see that one of them try to climb up on the tank to see if they could peer over and keep the pressure on the opposing side, right? But Slopodopoulos was posted up in the back. He may have made it up to the top of the tank, but he gets shot in the back while 2 of them are still playing by their enemy spawn, right? They really forced their way onto site there, and then had an even better bomb plan because they planted it directly in front of them on the backside, away from where I believe it was Delana was flanking from. And so that made it that much harder for them to end up playing that retake. The numbers deficit was way too huge, and a 3v1 is not something that you'll see people winning.
Who's that? Trying to get some intel off. Same placement. And there we go. Going to pick up something and check out what we've got. The 3 strong going to roll around the corner. 3 strong on the other side. And a bank. A perfect bank. Out of Gronky. Going to take out MS. Oh, that was beautiful. Just a Kobe right under the boxes. That was perfect. And they are going to be able to get that res off right away. They don't make a push off of that. Smart Smart thinking out of Justus, but there you go. We get to see the instant replay. That was tremendous. Excellent work out of Gronk. And here we go. Prosper going to take massive damage, but is able to escape through the smoke like Batman. And here we go. The Halo drones go out. Gronky picks up 1.
Yeah, that is best case scenario, I would say, as it makes playing retake a lot easier. MS is actually forced out towards mid, which makes it even better. All he has to do is stick the bomb right now. Then many of them aren't going to be able to push in. Yeah, that's just not going to end up happening. I was going to mention about the fact that I thought that was a little bit of a late ensign, but it ended up working out because they still get the kill on the way, like, as they're retreating, right? Like, they get the bomb planted down, and as soon as the bomb is planted and they roll out, they still lose 1 on the way out and try and play post plant. So I think that was really, really unfortunate. That was, even though the instant I don't think was like properly timed. Once again, how do you time that when you can't see the smoke's up, right? It's not going to be as easy to time it, but they still do get away with that and manage to get that kill. That is very well played on the side of Justus Roco.
Turtle has won the last 2 canals versus this Justus roster, so that is something to think about. They are just very confident going up against Justus right now, and it is showing after that last play. Here we go, same type of play being had. They're going to run it again. Hopefully not into a Gronky nade. Not going to happen this time. Pixie is going to get up here and try to play back a little bit. Who's Dad's going to be the one to open things up right now. Knew exactly where Ink was. And good execution from Turtle. Playing it close. Slop going to just let his health regen. Oh, but the quick res comes in by Pixie. He's going to get him up, and he wins that fight. Oh, that was huge. It's going to be a 1v2 now, though. And it's going to be Turtle winning the fights like it is time and time again. Turtle just being able to clutch things up. As soon as it goes a little bit in the favor of Justus, Turtle are able to turn things around once more. And a great execution, almost winning them that. We're going to see this once more. Just a good sniff from Who's Dat, hunting, getting that first pick. That is just it for me. Every single time you see Turtle doing well, it's off of that Who's Dat pick. Just either opening it up with forcing it into a 3v3 situation or just getting that kill and then staying alive. Who's Dat is on top of the ball this weekend as far as getting in and getting that entry frag off.
Yeah, that's about as much as you could ask for, right? I mean, like, that's a classic situation of it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm going to keep going back to the same side. You guys aren't really showing any sort of defensive play, and Justus have been doing well in terms of making sure that they've been trying to play a retake, but I think they are too eager to give up sight. I think that's the biggest issue for me, is the fact that they're too eager to do so. And right now, I would be really concerned if I was Slop. There's like 3 people running at him. He's not going to be able to make it out here, but they do afford to give up a side, I do believe. They actually are just coming in through mid. I'm not sure. I definitely don't agree with that. I think that if that's the case, if he's creating that much space for them, they should just go to A side.
MS is going to take himself down with the drone. You don't like to see that. 3v1 here. Final player Prosper not going to be able to do it. Delana there. We just saw him bulldoze through mid. That was just a big-time play. That's what I like to call the BDE, the big dollar energy. He feels that money on the line. He's just going to make it happen.
I mean, like, to be honest with you, like, that's... I really am confused because I'm not too sure why they would do that. Like, Slop drew away 3 from 1 bomb site, right? And at the most, we're talking about a 3v1 that's defending on A. You are not going to see, like, you're not going to ask for a better opportunity. I believe with Slop doing that, he was attempting or at least trying to create some sort of space for his team, but they weren't quite able to follow through in the same way. I'm not too sure why they doubled back to go through factory unless they were already on the way there, and Slop just so happened to be the first one already playing by mid. So Bounce Nade goes out, and they aren't going to be able to get the kill on him. He has no HP remaining and just barely makes it out.
Yeah, Gronky was on 0. That was not a one health type situation. He was absolutely at the 0 mark. He got lucky right there, rolling out of danger and not getting that first pick off. And that's all the difference sometimes. So good job out of him to keep Justus into this 4v4. And Pix trying to get some good intel off in mid. He's going to wrap around, though, to help out Ink. Coming up right behind his boy here to get him out of this 2v1 situation. And he's going to play the corner perfect. Gets a good hit off, gets some good damage in. Dallas going to pop the stem, though. Gets right back into the action where MS is taking down Gronky. But Gronky does get that trade. But Slop hitting Delana. Pix, let's see what he can do in a 2v1. He is going to take some damage. He doubles back, though. The double peek coming in. MS is ready for it. He's laying down the fire while the bomb is being planted. A very, very impossible situation for Pix right now. He's going to try to do something, but Slop shuts it down.
Overall, a great look at Right Turtle once again in terms of how they've been playing this so far. It's becoming more difficult, it seems like, for them to sort of find their pacing, but now they've settled into it, right? We had seen back and forth in the very beginning of this specific set, or the specific map, I should say. The first one team gets one game, another team gets one round. Like, it's just back and forth. But now it seems like Right Turtle have sort of found their stride and their momentum. I love how they're playing the pre-planned game. I love how they're playing around that and trying to find their best way to end up getting early picks, or see if they can flood a site first and take these more aggressive angles, this more aggressive positioning. And it makes it hard to try and hold an angle like this, because you're going to end up running into more than just one person. It might be two, it might even be three. But you have to, like, they have to play like this because they're making it onto site way too easily.
It is a back and forth game here on Canals. Like I mentioned before, when these two teams matched up on Canals, it has all gone in the favor of Right Turtle. Justus trying to fight up against a mountain at the moment. The confidence all on the side of Turtle. Playing a very good game of attack right now. And they're just using different tactics every single round. We've seen Justus pretty much stay on the same, though. Oh, my God. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Picks right onto Who's Dat.
Okay.
Who's Dat trying to make that play, and it's just like, it's 50-50, right? Like, every time, it's like, is Who's Dat going to be the first one, or is he going to grab it? And it was just a great lob from Pix. Opens this up a little bit, and it is a 4v2. Prosper is going to get one. Pix comes in, takes down Slop. The 3v1 right now. Prosper trying to do what he can. He does get one pick, but that's the 2v1. Not going to happen, and it is going to get disarmed. Justus coming up big right there with that huge opening kill onto Who's Dat.
Yeah, I definitely would say that was looking good at first, but off of the rotation, you get picked immediately. Like, once again, numbers deficit. Like, I hate to repeat the same thing, but it's like every time I'm just getting proven right. Like, it's a numbers deficit is a huge thing, a tall order to ask of anyone. Also, what a great C4, by the way. Like, that's something it is that not only do you not see often, but that's probably about as good as you can ask for. There's a reason why people consistently go to B site on this map as opposed to A. Without smokes and the proper utility, planting that bomb is nigh impossible. Like, you don't have an anvil, you don't have anything that's going to cover yourself from at least being able to get that bomb down. It's so hard to do that. And that's why you see people typically going towards B site to start things off and then seeing if they can rotate to A, because you have such a strong angle and such prevalent positioning to hold on A as a defender as opposed to B.
I agree with you so much, but even in that scenario, had you had an anvil, that perfect lob right over the shield would have done it. And we are seeing another lob. Who's that going to grab it onto Delana? Delana goes out, and it's going to be the 3v4 that we are seeing. Turtle is going to have this advantage. Going to get in there, try to see if we can get that bomb down. Talon trying to get some intel first, though, playing it efficiently. I like that. Really just buying time, trying to see if they need to win the fight, and it's not going to come. So, bomb eventually going down. Turtle now set up for this bomb, and Justus just waiting here, playing this double peek, and finally they go out after the corner is smoked, and Slop just deletes Gronky at the very beginning of the push. One player left up for Justus, and he's going to be coming in the back. That's going to be Pixie. Pixie can't do nothing. No way. Turtle able to execute that push onto the bomb very, very well.
Yeah, and I think that with how they played that is... So, I actually liked how he used the utility there. Like, typically when you see flashes or the utility use, it's typically followed up by a push or something of that nature, right? You're going to want to find or look for a better opportunity to determine where you need to position based off of the relative positioning of your opponent. But in that situation, they use the flash not to push behind it, but they use it to get intel. And so by throwing it and baking it off of the side, they know that somebody's back there. Doesn't matter how many, doesn't matter if it's one person, two people, or the rest of their team. That gives them enough information to not only give them, like, that's why Talon didn't plant until a little bit later. He used that intel, he got the information where he needed. He knew they had to have been playing an aggressive angle, which is why he was playing in the corner before he dedicated to planting the bomb himself. When people were covering him, then he's like, okay, now I already know where it is they're going to go. And that flash also stalls them from pushing out and stopping him when he's looking to plant the bomb in the first place. They can't take an aggressive angle if they can't see. And so with that being the case, it allowed them to be able to manipulate the tail end of that round to their advantage. A great overall play from Right Turtle, and I really, really am impressed with how they played them.
And that has got to be the reason why they have been undefeated versus Justus here on Canals. Who's that? Going to be jumping up, looking for some intel. Going to get that placement with that dart. Did it get over the box? I can't tell with the radar if it was able to get that extra bit of length or not. But he's just going to let it play out and takes this wraparound. Slop getting the intel off, gets beautiful headshots through the smoke onto Gronky, but a grenade is going to take out two. Who's that? MS go down. Incredible placement, but they're right back up. Here we go. The push is coming in. Slop trying to make a play on the flank. And Justus are just playing back just a little bit. Not letting any type of pick happen. Slop waiting to make a push. Going to sync up with the rest of the crew. And there we go. Who's that? Going to be the first one on the board once again. Prosper comes in right behind and is going to take down Ink. Gronky goes down. Pix follows. One player left to do something. It's going to be Delana. Not going to be able to make much happen. It was close. Oh my. What just happened?
I believe that they let go of the bomb is what ended up happening.
I mean, it could have been
something.
Could have been a let go.
I mean, that's like the only case scenario because they were on the bomb and then they let it go. So that's physically what ended up happening. So, like, because they were definitely defusing the bomb, so they let it go afterwards.
Delana was dead. Delana was like off it. Like there was no more shots from Delana. It was you were good to go. There was all the time in the world to get that disarm. It had to be a let go. That was very, very unfortunate. And that's going to play a big difference maker. I mean, that loses tournaments for some teams. That's going to be huge. So we're going to have to see the bounce back after that. A very, very unfortunate. Did you see which player had the let go there? Because that might be something we see in their performance, reflect in their performance.
I don't think I did manage to catch a glimpse of who was on the bomb. But with that being the case, I definitely would say that things are not looking too great right now, if that's how things are going to go for the rest of the game. So far, so good, though. They are at least holding on to things a little bit later in the rounds and how things are going through. It seems like they're at least defending pretty effectively. It just depends on how they, once again, play around this bomb. Justus trying to find their best way to make it on the B side right now. Justus
just got a get out of jail free card, essentially. But that is what happens and on tournament day. When the pressure's on, things go crazy, just like that. Ink with the kamikaze, taking down Who's Dat and MS and himself. Beautiful work. Gonna force this 2v2, and we have the gunfight. We've got good shots being landed by Slop. He's able to get the 2-shot onto him while keeping 100 health. He knows exactly where Delane is going to be, playing the corner effectively. Prosper puts the shots in, and oh my gosh, gets down to 52 health. That was almost a reversal situation. Would have been a 2v1 win for the ages, but Turtle is able to come out on top.
Yeah, I definitely would say that not only did they play that well, but it is just a struggle for Justus to try and make it onto the objective at first. It's hard to push onto some of these sites. I would definitely say on this map, even though it is easier to make it onto B as opposed to A, I would definitely say that this is more of a defense-sided map. I think the defending side has a lot of advantages to how they have to play, and it makes the attack have to really come at them in different linear patterns. You have one person that obviously covers mid, and then you have the rest of them either playing, maybe 2 playing on B side, 1 playing on A, and you get as much intel as it is possible. The only way that we've actually seen people give up sites or sort of afford that space is if it was only them, or if they didn't have enough people to try and counteract what was about to happen. And so that is something that you have to keep in mind when you're watching a lot of these games, is the fact that people are really forfeiting a lot of this space to forfeiting a lot of this space to their opposing side.
1 minute remaining on the push here. Slop going to be playing the flank, making his way on the wraparound to the site. Who's Dat trying to make a push in? So much smoke is down. Not any visibility through. Bomb is down. Prosper's going to land a great grenade onto Delana and open things up, but they're not going to get it. Okay, there we go. They push in. They take him down once more. Delana just going to get absolutely bullied. Who's that? Goes in. He does go down, but MS is there, and he picks up 2. Slop and MS able to just do all the work, and here we go. A 6-4 Canals demo. They are just looking so good right now. Despite the mess up with the bomb, they're still looking great right now, and they're just taking over. Justus have to do something. Fawn, what can they do?
I definitely think that they are giving up a little bit too much space to Right Turtle. I think they have to play or at least catch them off guard. A lot of the time, I don't know if they're actually playing aggressive enough to keep the pressure on the opposing side. With that actually end up being the case, I would definitely say that Right Turtle are just playing the better defense side, honestly. Like, I think that Justus are just not able to overtake the sites how they may need to, and they can't really utilize their utility in the way that they want to either, because look at where Prosper is playing. Like, Prosper is playing super far up. If 2 people came around this corner right now, he'd pretty much be dead, right? But he's not, and he's willing to take that aggressive positioning just to try and keep an eye on them. Right now, they get Slop here. It's looking like a very, very good game so far.
Oh, we're doing a little bit of swimming. Swimming's going on down there. Ink gonna grab the kill onto Slop. And what a strategy that was. Okay, so he's going to get the res off and come up behind. I'm not sure what is going on back there. But we're at 2 health. Got to stay close to his teammate. Prosper is going to stay alive, and he gets the regain off. 14 for MS. He's going to get his regain. Prosper going to get 2 onto Gronk and Ink. That's the way you open things up. Who's Dat follows it up on a picks, and Ink goes down. And Delana, the last one with the hero play. It's got to be big. Is able to hit some headshots, gets the stim off. Got 100 health to play with, but Who's Dat comes in and takes down 2 with a second. Oh my god. It was not even a second. That was a quarter of a second, Fawn. A quarter of a second.
Made that. There's like, you can't even ask about like a better situation, because like that is becoming a huge order, a tall task to actually utilize right there. I think that is absolutely crazy. Wow, what an opportunity.
Well, that is actually going to do it. They are going to take that game. Right Turtle executed that beautifully, and they are rewarded that game. The issues aside, they were going to take that round, and so they were rewarded that one. Excellent job out of Right Turtle right there. That was fantastic work on Canals. Uh, you know, they've proven why they were undefeated against Justus. Record against them, and they just proved it why right there. Now the 3-0 on Canals, but just incredible work there, and they are in the lead in this match.
Yeah, I mean, once again, like we're talking about a 2-1 in terms of set score. That is absolutely crazy, man. I mean, like once again, Right Turtle, we've seen them send, we have seen them beat Justus Roco in losers finals beforehand, right? Like this is not the first time that these two titans have gone up against one another. I absolutely would say that these things are like I would absolutely say that these two teams are neck and neck. I am not surprised whatsoever about the outcome of the match or anything of the sort. Like obviously, let's take a look at the quick replays real quick, just to obviously go over what we actually believe to have happened. I am super interested in terms of seeing this perspective, in terms of understanding that this is how we need to see the things, like this is how we need to play this. Both of these teams obviously have their own strategies. It's about which strategy won out for the most part. We saw that Justus had did a decent job at making sure they kept the lead with one another. By that sixth, seventh round,
this one right
that
here
is definitely when things. Yeah, yeah. That is definitely when things started to become a little bit more difficult for Justus Roco. It felt like Right Turtle had hit their stride, and you can sort of tell that being the case. I've casted slot before, Prosper Logic. I've seen these boys in the Paladins Pro Leagues before, right? I know exactly how they play, how they love to utilize and be aggressive in a lot of these different fights. When they have the momentum, it's very easy to tell when they actually have the momentum.
Well, Justus are going to be in a tough spot right now. They're only one game away from getting taken down. And I said it before that game. They needed to really lean on these demos after what we saw from the Windward King. I mean, it was just a Right Turtle stomping. And I did not see them going to be able to take that game 4. And now here we are. We're in that situation where Justus have to take it. They're in a must-win situation. Getting into this one, it is going to be tough. But we're going to go to a quick break. I'm going to switch out with Rome when we get back to finish this one off. Fawn, it was beautiful casting with you. But guys, it'll just be 1 second, and we'll be right back.
Hello and welcome back to the $10,000 CMG Rogue Company main event for November. We are here yet again. I'm Rome DMV. Joining alongside with me is Fawn. I had to replace Nighty really quick. You know, he couldn't wait. He said, Rome, I got to go play some Roco. I'm seeing too many amazing runway plays. I got to go try it out myself. So here I am.
Hey, and honestly, man, like looking sharp, looking great. Honestly, like I'm excited to be casting with you once again, of course, for day 2 of the main event. Really great set so far. Justus Roco versus Right Turtle. For those of you that are just now tuning in with us, I do believe the score is 2-1 in favor of Right Turtle. Genuinely has been doing a great job, and Right Turtle have been looking strong, not only with their drafts but how they've been playing things overall as well.
Oh, yes, you're completely correct when you say that. You know, 8-6 for Justus on the Palace. It was a really close one, but they were able to pull it out off some extreme clutch plays. Right Turtle, they are very good at Windward King of the Hill, so not really surprised to see it as a 2-0 just because they showed yesterday on Windward King of the Hill that they are absolute juggernauts. And then coming to Canals, 8-4 in favor of Right Turtle. I wish that I could say I'm surprised, but I'm not. Like you guys talked about, it has been one of their better maps where Justus has really struggled against them, and now with Justus having a new roster, it's going to be really interesting to see how they're going to be playing this next King of the Hill, because man, oh man, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and of course, this Palace, what map it is that we saw them lose on previously, and this time it's going to be the Scorching Vibe band, which is something that's interesting because of the sheer fact that the last King of the Hill that we saw them on with Windward There was no Scorch ban. There was no Vibe ban. Instead, they actually opted to go for the Dahlia, and I do believe they opted to go for the Glitch or the Ronin. We saw a Scorch get drafted out, but no Vibe pick whatsoever in the last King of the Hill. Instead, they traded out that Vibe for the Mac potential. Seeing Scorch and Vibe back in the ban columns means that we could still see that Mac end up being utilized, because I think that Mac is one of the more underutilized characters. I think it has genuinely been a really good opportunity to be able to see and witness Mac sort of come into prominence here in terms of the games and matches that we've seen him be more prevalent in, especially from last showdown as well.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's the great thing about Mac, is that his two classes are an LMG and a submachine gun. So if you do pick him for King of the Hill, you don't have to be stuck using that submachine gun. If you've mastered a weapon, like pretty much every single person in this tournament has mastered
Right,
every
yeah.
weapon up to this point. If you have that weapon mastered, you could swap over to a D40C or a 24S, whichever submachine gun you feel most comfortable with currently. And I personally think that overall, Anvil is underutilized right now, and I believe that that's one of the main reasons, is that Anvil doesn't have that submachine gun secondary class. I feel like that's a main reason why Mac is picked over Anvil, because obviously Anvil has an amazing shield. It takes forever to destroy, can block off whole angles, things like that, make you contest hills, get easy contesting time, so many things. But Mac, he's got that light bomb, and that thing can come in handy in certain situations. We haven't seen it used too much, but when it does get used, it's really extremely effective. And I'm excited to see if not only Mac is going to be played, but how these players are going to be using that light bomb on this map specifically, because it's more of an open situation. So I'm pretty sure that a light bomb would work a lot more effective than on previous maps.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more of an advantageous state that you would have to be in, especially when you utilize your ability like that. I definitely think that you can find some value out of Mac here. And that's something that we would have to keep in mind, obviously, before the game starts, is that that's one of those characters that can end up getting picked. Vi and Scorch still being banned out. I mean, once again, Palace is a map that we've seen people play on back and forth time and time again as the weeks have gone on. And I'll actually be super, super interested to see what their drafts will specifically be once we are able to get into the match.
Oh yeah, 100%. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket, though. Give you guys a little bit of an update of what is going around the Rogue Company community. So as you guys can see, currently in the winners finals, Right Turtle, they are taking a 2-1 advantage over Justus. This is coming off the backs of Right Turtle taking out Coolin last night, and Justus beating Bullville last night as well. We saw both those matches on stream, so I'm extremely excited to see how they're going to be doing in losers bracket, because guess what? Those teams that ended up losing, they had to go to a war yesterday after our broadcast ended, and man, I gotta say, there were some super, super close matches all around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday was definitely a sight to see. I definitely would advise anyone to go back and watch the VOD, see how sick the matches were yesterday, because I definitely enjoyed watching it from home here. It's been a great opportunity to be able to cast this, as well as seeing these upcoming games as well. I'm overall impressed, super, super floored by all the opportunity that all these teams have sort of afforded to not only to themselves, but really have been putting their best foot forward. They've been showing out here. We mentioned the Mac, say his name 3 times in the mirror, and evidently he shows up, and here he is, right? I mean, like, this is an opportunity that I'll be interested to see him play here, because we had talked about how we felt like since it was open, it feels a little bit more prominent that he'll be here, a little bit more of a likely chance, and here he is. So I'm wondering about the mileage he'll get out of his abilities.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know there's going to be a Dallas and a Kestrel on both sides. After that, it's all about what variation you want to go with. And we see a Mac locked in for both teams, a Dahlia on one side and a Lancer on the other. So that is the one trade out that we're going to be having in this one. And I got to say that I like both sides of this. I like the Dahlia because not only can you link to the Mac, get him revived, as well as take that extra 25 armor after every single down, which can be so crucial in clutch situations. And on the other side, you have the Lancer. Lancer is a big map on Palace, and you can sit here and take any angle you want. Essentially, there's always going to be a route to get to the enemy's back. So, you definitely have to be aware of that Lancer, where she is at all times. It's going to be up to that Dallas to try and reveal her with his downs that he's going to be collecting. And now we get to see if Justus is going to be able to answer back in a King of the Hill against a team that looked oh so strong in that Windward King of the Hill, sending them 2-0 into a very, very sad state, I'm sure. I'm sure that right now, Justus, they do not want to go down to that losers bracket. They don't want to play for top 3. No, they want to make sure that they win this outright. That way that they they have the best chance of winning that grand finale without a reset.
Yeah, that is hard in terms of mentality of trying to fight back your way from lose bracket, than knowing that you typically have to play like 2 sets in the grand finals potentially. That is hard to be able to keep in mind. And Gronky's starting things off strong for his team.
Yeah, you see Gronky using the D40, and that's what I'm saying. He's already gotten 2. Not able to get Emes, though, as Emes gets a nice trade. So neither team really able to get a lot of consistent hill time yet. It's only 9-4. And they're gonna need to figure something out, because they got 28 seconds, and this is gonna be rotating to the back. Spawn, nice kill by Slop with that Sahara. They're gonna be contesting this hill time. And I kind of like it. You do have a Kestra ult, so why not? You know, you can at least get one guy off the site. There you go. And even though it is scrap time can add up quick.
You know, so far so good for Right Turtle. They at least managed to get the lead, but I'm worried about the next objective. Things seem to be a little bit harder for Right Turtle to try and take over this one. I was going to mention the fact that Who's Dat had went down, but so his Ink. So now maybe the odds are a little bit evened up right now. Tries to get the trade and doesn't quite find it, though. Mac is already drawing attention away from 2 different people. He downed one and then got the other. They have to find some sort of way to take over this next site.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, Justus, they have complete control of it. This Dahlia, she's going to be revealed. She's going to be waiting for her team. I think she's going to try to play for a pick, and Ink is going to be taking out Prosper, so that ended up not working out in his favor. Justus, they have control right now of this next hill, this B hill, and it's going to be extremely hard to break heading into the C.
Yeah, right now, things are looking dire for Right Turtle, or at least there's more of an opportunity for them to actually make their way in. Looking for any opportunity he can find. Try to see if he can find any damage on Gronky, and he does. It's a beautiful flank and great hold in terms on and great hold from MS, great hold from Prosper, doing a good job at making sure they lock down the site as best as they can. They've got 10 seconds left on this objective. They have to start moving towards the next site, like right now. But they don't have much of a choice.
Oh, yeah, precisely. You can see Ink already. He spawned pretty far out, so they're going to have the backside spawns now. And I'm not even sure which side is the better side. It seems like having control of the offensive demolition spawn. It seems like having that controlled is the best for this C hill. But honestly, I've seen teams win it from both sides. So it's really just about having that teamwork and nice play organizing between these players to be able to get some nice coordination with each other to clear out this site, make them spawn out, understand where they're spawning, and get the kills necessary.
Yeah, seems like right now they're doing a good job at making sure they hold on to the side on the side of Justus Roco. But things are becoming more and more dangerous. I love the way how he's holding the back of that rooftop right there, just making sure that he's keeping an eye on anyone that might be providing from flanks. But it's going to be harder for him to provide support like that when they're getting forced off of site from double doors. The point differential isn't a big lead, but it is noticeable. Almost 40 points. We've just hit that 40-point mark. It's something that I would keep in mind coming into this next hill. They've been losing several gunfights, but yeah, it's not anything that I would be too concerned about personally.
Yeah, one thing I am concerned about, though, is Ink up here. He might be taken out. No, wow, they're actually going to keep control of this hill for now. It's Right Turtle. They are trying to find Ink so bad. He is hanging on to dear life. He still is ratting over here. Has not died yet. He's the only one alive for his squad. And he's just going to wait for his teammates. It's a smart play. Just wait for your team. You don't have to be the 1v4 hero. Just make the smart play, the safe play, the committed play.
Try to be a little bit too aggressive as well. on the side of Right Turtle. Stop playing up in the front of that. Trying to position himself in a way that allows him to be able to take a lot of those trades is not a good look. And part of the reason why I say that is because of the fact that there's too many angles it is that you could be attacked from. I think the best case scenario is to try and see if you can find or play passively that same sort of angle. They are at least able to watch over mid. Slop does get dinked, but it's not gonna be anything too crazy. They're just gonna try and see if they can hold on to the objective as much as they can.
Yeah, you can see Ink. He is really playing for that player. He did not want him to come up whatsoever and get a pinch in the mid. And I gotta say, Justus right now, they're walking away with this one, and they're gonna be going up 1-0 as all the players from Right Turtle spawn too far out. to be able to contest that hill anymore. So that D hill, we've seen how amazing that D hill can be when it comes to making a comeback or holding on to the lead that you have. That's exactly what Justus was able to do right there.
That hill by double doors, I have really seen that make or break rounds or games in some situations, right? Like this point right here is typically some of the most contested King of the Hill objective on Palace, like hands down, bar none, because you have to make sure that you hold that. People that hold those double doors, it feels almost impossible to try and break that hold from a lot of different teams. It's just a rough fight to try and provide yourself with. And I think that's what's so important about that is the fact that that becomes so much of an issue. Slop gets downed, and you got to be able to watch that mid. You have to be careful of the flanks.
Yeah, right now, a lot of time being contested. You can see Ink came around the side. Going to be full killing that player to make sure that the revive doesn't come through either. That means Mac and Dahlia, or Mac, Dahlia, and Dallas, excuse me, are going to need to re-up, get back to this next hill. You can already see the rotations coming out from each team, trying to get control of this B spawn. But right now, Justus have control of it.
Yeah, so far, like playing up this far, it's going to be extremely difficult. You have two people that are holding the cross. Anyone tries to push through, they're going to get down just like Gronky did. That is not how I expected that fight to go. They already killed off two, and this is going to be their hill to control. They just forced them off of that objective, and they have so much time to be able to hold this. If they hold this for long enough, they will absolutely take the lead.
Oh, yes, completely correct. You know, tons of time left, still a whole minute on the clock for this B hill. And, you know, having the control of the back spawns is important. You see it and see Slop. He's already got the control of it. But even if you have control of the backside, you still got to get into the hill and get the time. And he was not able to do that right there. So that means Right Turtle, it looks like Right Turtle are going to be able to win out the gunfights and get some more time on this hill, which is kind of surprising. I thought that they were going to be able to lock it down from the side of Justus, but no, the wall has fallen.
Yeah, Pix, Ink, both of them get taken out here. Gronky is going to at least get Slop, but there's still several people that are on the objective, and it's going to be hard to try and break this hold too. Gets good damage on the Who's Dat though, and wins the gunfight. They are contesting, which is what's huge about this. Contesting, even though it's not going one way or the other, no one's being able to garner any points. That's pretty big because it allows them to be able to stall things out. If they don't win this fight by double doors, this is like, I don't know how they're going to try and even retake this objective because this is going to be way too difficult for them.
Oh, completely correct. You can see right now Ink on the big flank. There is a player over here. I think that he heard him. Yeah, I was about to say he heard him. You can see he's ready, and he's going to take him out as well, getting to 50. Wow, what a 1v1. Now he's in another 1v1 going up against the Dahlia, but Dahlia's going to get the better of him this time. But that is so great because you're sitting there distracting the enemy team with a couple of their players for such a long amount of time. You can see Gronky, he is flying to the back right now. They are trying to go to war at the back of the spawn, fighting for these spawns, and I don't really blame them, but if it's not going to work, you got to get back and fight this team head up.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though, is that now, like, Lancer is playing back still, but she has to help out her team. Like, and I think she's realizing that now. They're playing by double doors. They have to go for these swings and see if they can find some of these fights. Right now, they aren't garnering any percentage or any sort of points on the side of Right Turtle because people are contesting them on it. And at this point, you see how they're not taking any fights. That's because they just want to make sure they hold and keep the lead as they already have right now. Like, because it seems like they're already sending people off to go over to the next site. They're able to get the kill, so they're able to get a little bit more points, but it's not going to matter at the end of the day. Like, it's just not going to.
Yeah, not going to matter whatsoever. Delina got taken out very quickly, and that's going to be 2 players down at the start of this D hill. We know how strong this D hill can be when it comes to holding it and gaining points off of it. So now it's going to be all about these trades. Pixie goes down. Emes goes down. Even trades all around, but Ink is able to win the big 1v1 on Slop. That might be a big difference maker. There is only 2 players left to retake. There's one, but he's going to get Dahlia rezzed. Oh, man, this is going to be coming down to most likely a sudden death. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, neither would I. Prosper can't go down here, though. It's not going to be looking too good for them if they do. Prosper does still get taken out. Slop is there. They managed to at least get 1 kill on the objective. His team is back, so Gronky doesn't have to worry about holding on to the objective by himself. for much longer. They are at least going to be able to provide the support they need, but thanks to Mac, this is probably like one of the best retake options that you have right now. Just sit onto it until it blows up and you're chilling.
Oh, that was a big 1v1
Oh,
won by
almost.
Gronky. That's such a big 1v. And you can see Gronky right now. He is just playing that middle rotator. He's not going to play the hill, just making sure that anyone coming up, they can be called out. And that's going to be a 2-0 clean win in Demolition for Justus. Wow.
Yeah, I definitely think that I'm not too sure. Like, really, it felt like a lot of those fights were slowly going towards the way of Right Turtle, but it just wasn't enough to adapt. I mean, they lost the previous King of the Hill match. Justus Roco did, is what I mean, not Right Turtle, but Justus Roco losing the previous King of the Hill match on one of their more favorable maps, but they win this one on Palace to tie things up and take us to a game 5. I feel like that game specifically really had a lot of ups and downs for Right Turtle. Right Turtle seemed like they had the hold and the perspective that they needed to be able to win. I saw the ideas they were going for, like fights right here, trying to see if they can play over by mid, but you have to be able to win gunfights like that. When the King of the Hill first started, the very first few seconds of the round, you see people were playing by mid, keeping pressure, and Right Turtle just weren't ready for a flank through mid. They get killed off of the rooftop. They weren't able to garner as many points as they would have liked to in this mid, which is why these double doors are so important. It really is the turning point for a lot of different teams, mainly because of the fact that this is going to be the most contested objective. If you are able to lock this down, it allows you to be able to take over D site, no problem, because it's literally right over there to the right. The angles you're naturally going to be holding are going to transition over to what you need to be looking at on D site, and I think that that's what's so important about that. That is something that they weren't quite able to do, because twice we saw them live and die by the sword, right? That C site was not how they wanted it to go. And even when they did have it in control of it, it was mostly being contested. So they couldn't really do much about it. They just sort of had to just do what it is they can, right? Make the best out of a bad situation.
Yeah, exactly. And now this game number 5, Breach. We're going to be going to Breach Demolition. This one, these players, man, I think they're going to be ready for it this time. I'm expecting a whole lot of high octane action, because guess what? Breach is a newer map, but it's a map that players have started to figure out. I feel like the meta has become more defined. So right now, these teams, I feel like they've figured it out completely to how they want to play it. Some people like using Talon, other people don't. Some people like playing with Runway Band on this map. Some people don't, simply because utility can be so important on these close in those close quarter situations at A, where you're really, in a scramble for your life. But if you decide to go B, where it's a little bit more wide open, you can change up your comp a little bit for that. So there's a lot of different compositions you can go on Breach. But the fact these teams are both starting to figure it out and make their own metas, if you will, because this is definitely one of those type of maps where it's really about comfort picks and a little bit of intel. It's really all you need to make sure you have.
Yeah, and I think that that's what's super important as well coming into this next map. I mean, like, having so many different possible opportunities, so many different outcomes, the meta really has shaped and sort of really casted itself now, especially coming here into November, the second day of the Row Company Showdown. I would definitely say that a lot of these picks are going to be more concrete. We're going to see some of the same bands as we'll typically see. Just we're heading back into a demolition map and demolition game mode, excuse me. I would definitely say that this is going to be, like, at the most, this is what we're going to expect to see. We're going to be going to Breach is the next map, I do believe. So having that intel and everything it was that you were saying, Rome, I 110% agree with.
Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bans for this map. Let's see what they've decided to get on out of here. What's it going to be? I'm excited to see it. I feel like personally, when we do get to see the bans, I feel like on this map, we're going to see a Ronin ban, because if I'm on offense, there's no way that I want to go into a Ronin where she's completely undetectable. Most of the time you have your Dallas, your Kestrel, your Talon even. And either way, whatever ban you end up choosing, I feel like it's got to be one of the power bans. I feel like Glitch and Ronin are honestly just too strong on a map like Breach. So I think they're both going to get banned out here. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I would definitely say the same thing. Like, Ronin is one of those characters that you have to keep tabs on, and sometimes it's not even worth the trouble to really just try and make sure that you're watching out on the flank. It really eliminates the possibility of your intel being as effective as you would want it to, especially when she's in the game. Definitely have to get her out of here. I've seen Anvil get utilized quite a bit on this map as well. Not as much as some of the others, obviously, but still something that I would keep in mind too. I can't imagine we'd see him get banned out here because I feel like both Ronin and Glitch provide too much to the team. Too much to any team it is that they're on, and obviously if they end up locking in the Anvil, they would have to leave Glitch open for that counter pick potential. So just getting Ronin and Glitch out of the way would make it way easier and give you a lot more freedom to draft what you would feel like you would need to be able to actually bring out, because both of those characters do great at stopping different characters. Glitch can pretty much stop anyone, stall out a push, and make the defense harder to hold. Like it's just too much to try and deal with. So personally, for me, it might be the Ronin Glitch, or it might be the Dahlia that we were seeing so prominently banned throughout today as well.
Yeah, exactly. The Dahlia ban coming out has been pretty interesting, but hey, these players, they said no problem. We'll just go on over to Saint. So let's go ahead and take a look at these bans now. I believe that they are ready for us. It is going to be Runway and Glitch, and you know what that means. Wow, they decided to let it play. Ronin is here. So that means that 50% of the players on the map are not going to be detected. That Dahlia is most likely going to be linking with the Ronin every single round. So at this point, what do you do for intel? Do you really go Dallas? Because that snap isn't 100% accurate anymore. It's only 50%. You could snap somebody across the map, but guess what? There's a guy right next to you that can't be revealed. So it's going to be all about these smart team plays. I don't really see a lot of splitting up happening here just because there is a Ronin on the map. I would be shocked if Ronin was not picked up by one, if not both of these teams right here.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I would keep in mind as well heading into this next draft. I think that's a wonderful point to make as well. Having the Dahlia actually being linked to the Ronin means that there's going to be a lot more you're going to have to be worried about when you're coming into a lot of these different fights. And I think that makes things so annoying to try and deal with. And yeah, there it is. You see Scorch, Kestrel, Ronin, Dahlia already. Dahlia technically having like two good targets it is that she could link to. I mean, having the Scorch or Ronin to choose from is definitely something I would keep in mind. The Ronin seems to be the better bet to me, but it seems like Who's That is sort of hovering the Talon still. And the Dallas, I also would agree with you. And the statement it is that you made earlier, the question it is that you posed earlier is, do you feel like it is worth it to actually go this intel when you have to worry about potentially two people that aren't going to even be seen? And I don't personally think that you do, but MS feels the exact opposite. He is going to lock in the Dallas and instead still go for that intel potential.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. It's going to be very hard for Right Turtle to be able to overcome this. But man, listen, whoever's on offense right now, they're going to have the harder time simply because they have to go into a Ronin and a Dahlia. So man, I think it's just going to be an interesting situation. Right Turtle, they do have the trench, I believe, on their side. So they will be able to, yes, they do have the trench on their side. So they'll be able to get some APs down, stop some of these pushes that are going to be coming out. But like you said, it's just very interesting not choosing the Ronin, especially on defense. They do have one, but it's linked to the trench. So really, this is just all around a surprising start to a game for me, honestly.
Yeah, that is going to be the trench link for now. Well, to be fair, I mean, like, I can completely understand the trench link because of the fact that, like, they don't have intel on the other side. Yeah, exactly. They don't have intel on the other side. So you wouldn't really have to be worried about making sure that you're invisible in this situation. There's no one that's going to be able to snitch on you. You're fine in this situation. So I completely understand being able to link to the trench here. And Ronin's already all the way up, forcing things out from MS, forcing him on the rotation, and I do like that. Let's just play retake. Don't even worry about trying to stall them out on the first initial push. We have good enough utility, and with Dahlia being linked to the trench, it makes it even more possible.
Yeah, you see Ink, he put his Ronin knife on that hop over wall. It did get blown up, though, from somebody at the hallway. One player going to be going low. That's going to be Gronky. Molly going to be coming out. There it is. All right, Ink, you got a big fight ahead of you. You got to be able to win this one. The team needs you the most. Pixie's able to take out Who's That. Slop gets dropped by Gronky. Now it's a 2v4. They get the trench up. 3v4 now. Still time left on the clock, but you got to make a play, and you got to make it happen. Now, that's not going to be working as Gronky and Ink take out Who's and Emes. Only one player left in the back, and he's not going to be able to touch this bomb, let alone look at it, as that is going to be a 1-0 advantage start for Justus.
Yeah, a strong start, honestly. I mean, like, you can't ask for a better situation than that. So they make it onto site, they get the bomb planted down, and really, it's a race against the clock. Like, this is why I keep mentioning time and time again that putting focus on that bomb and really making sure that you at least plant it is always going to be the single most important thing, like, ever. Because you're going to have to keep in mind 90% of the time that these things are going to be extremely difficult. It's going to be hard to try and deal with a lot of that. Like, it's hard to deal with post plant when that bomb gets planted in such a wide like it's planted at such a wide angle that it makes it that much more difficult. So I would absolutely keep that in mind. Like, and that's something that they have to do. Like, I understand that MS was forced off of the site, but if it's coming down to that, you can't be in such a weird spot. But they were already watching such an open angle. Look at how many people are low on the side of Justus, and they don't die, but someone on right turtle does.
Exactly. It's all about that positioning, that movement to be able to get out of those situations. And man, that round was even cleaner. 2-0 now for Justus. I think they're starting to put it together on this map.
Yeah, I definitely think so too. Like, you're talking about a situation where not only were they playing mostly on open site, but like not only were they playing on open site, but we're talking about a situation where there were so many people that were brought low during that it didn't even matter how the rest of the fight went, because they still managed to at least get one. MS was playing a little bit closer to mid, manages to get the damage on someone, but they don't go down in the slightest. Instead, they just win the fight at, like, in total. They really do manage to clean it up here. And right turtle have to find their footing because it's not looking so good right now. Those are two very quick rounds.
Oh yeah, 100%. You can see Ink right now. He is trying to figure out who is over here. And this is an interesting situation because when you're going up against a Ronin on this specific hill, there's so many corners that she could be playing in, so you really have no idea where she is at any point in time. You see the knife being held out by the Ronin, deciding where to put it to be able to stop this push coming in. It's a very tense situation, very quiet right now.
Yeah, smoke's going out. Obviously just to cover themselves for the time being. The instant gets utilized too. They want to take a little bit of an extra fight, but great ballistic knife to keep the pressure on him and manages to get Ink down as well. That's a great look at for this round already.
Exactly. This is the start that they needed to this comeback. They were down 2-0, looking to make it 2-1 right now. Ooh, man, here we go, Delina. What you gonna do? Kestrel ult coming out. And I don't think the Kestrel ult hit anyone. No, they all got off of it, and they're deciding to push instead. He's able to take out one. Not able to take out two.
Wow.
Yeah, that was getting very, very close, man. That was extremely close.
Yeah, I definitely watching with bated breath there for a second because I was like, there's no physical way that this is how this actually works out. It just became a big issue. Like, I definitely think that those fights could have easily been lost because they didn't time their push in together. Like, they both got brought low because they had taken the fights one-on-one at first, but eventually they had gotten to the point to where they were in a good enough spot to make sure they both swung them together. And I think that's like super huge as well. Great bomb spot plant, by the way, on the side of Justus Roco, because for them to have to, they have to push him in that situation. That angle is literally too wide. He has a clear linear line of sight, clear LOS of the bomb. They have to push him in that scenario. If they get another plant like that, I don't think if that'll work out the same way that it did for Justus Roco beforehand.
Yeah, exactly. You see Gronky right now, he's going to go meet Ink over at this A bomb site. There is a player hovering in the middle. There's two players, actually. Delina, they are getting that info, and they're hopping over, but that ended up not working out at all. That is just so unfortunate. As that molly coming out, he's going to be mollying his teammate. A little bit of friendly fire. No problem, no problem. That's a 4v2, though. They're going to be coming to these players at this A site. They understand that they're both in here, so now it's just going to be all about retaking in smart fashion.
You know, they're just trying to play to their advantage the best that they can. Ink is close, and they had no idea. They have to find a better way to actually try and play this retake. Trades going out one after the other. They are going to at least be able to finish off Ink. That's one that's down. The knife is there. They do take care of Gronky. That is going to tie things up 2-2 right now as we head off into round 5.
Oh yeah, trading rounds back and forth. Here we go. It's definitely what we expected when we're talking about two of the best teams in the game. These really are the two best teams in the game. They've faced each other so many times in the finals, winners finals, grand finals. Doesn't matter if it's got finals in it. You can assume that Justus or Right Turtle are going to be there, if not both. So, 2-2 game right now. Close situation coming out of Ink. These Ronin knives as well are very entertaining to watch. We haven't got to see some Ronin knife action in a while.
Yeah, right now, I'm going to be interested to see how they play this from this point on. It's going to make things a little bit more difficult for them. As they are heading off to B site, Slop is lurking in mid currently and is keeping an eye out for anyone that might try and rotate through. I am a little bit curious with how that's going to go, but for right now, B site is being overtaken and the pressure is on for sure. Slop is still holding by mid, just trying to bide his time. I believe he is on the flank right now. They don't actually know that he's there and haven't managed to figure it out yet. They do get the down on Who's Dat, and that's already a good look for Justus. Roco having 3 on the other side alive on Right Turtle, but not many left on the side of Justus.
Exactly, it's coming down to the wire right now, and hey, Right Turtle able to answer back. 3-2 advantage now for them. And as that B push did not work out. But yeah, you like to see them switching it up, trying something a little bit different that time. So hey, here we go. You got to make things work. You got to make this offense happen because you do not want to go into this defensive side, like honestly, even close to tied. I think really, I'm going to be brutally honest. I think that Right Turtle, they are so good on offense on this map and not that great on the defensive side. So I've seen them make so many amazing plays on offense, but I feel like on defense, they're really just trying to react to what the offense is doing. They're not really being proactive, and I don't know if that's going to come back to bite them, but we just got to see how it's going to be on the offensive end because their offense looked amazing last time that we saw it in Demolition on this map.
I agree as well, and it seems like they are at least taking things a little bit slow. They're having the fights early, but not too harshly committing to the site is what it looks like. Like they are taking a lot of these battles, these gunfights, but they aren't rushing site like how we had seen them do before, eager to get onto the site, utilizing the smokes early. They're waiting for something, and I'm curious to know what it is. They aren't committing too hard yet. It might be the flank or some sort of attempt. They forced Dallas out. That might be the opportunity they were looking for, but the bomb is still not planted. I'm not sure what they might be going for here.
Yeah, exactly. And the interesting thing is when you are able to have, I think they're trying to do a rat play. Yeah, like Ink is coming up behind, so he doesn't have the bomb. So they're just going to be waiting for him to most likely get into a little better of a position and then start to plant it. Because as you can see, Ink has every single player, every single health bar. You can see all stacked up in that one little area. They are able to get the bomb down though. They down the Ronin. That's got to be a hand res. Are they going to be able to get it? Yes, easy and clean.
Yeah, they aren't going to be aware of the Ronin behind either. Like Prosper's taking them apart. I actually like how they did that, really. They had 3 of them sent off of the objective from A all the way over to the opposite bomb site just to see what it is that they could get right. Meanwhile, Ronin's waiting the entire time, trying to find her opportunity. MS is already down 2 though, and it's just him versus a couple more. There's not going to be much left, but that Mamba's not going to help him in that situation. He is going to get downed. Almost clutched that out, actually. Ronin did not have much health, and neither did Delana. That could have been really scary.
Yeah, definitely could have been. But hey, listen, tying it up yet again. We just keep going back and forth with these two teams, man. Somebody's got to take a decisive 2-point lead at some point, but who knows, man. See Ink with the great shots coming out of the 24S, picking this grenade, doing what he does, man. Ink has been on one this entire game, and I'm not really surprised. He is definitely one of the best players in Rogue Company. He was my #1 rated player coming into this month, and he's showing why every chance that he can get.
Yeah, like that's man, that's crazy. Like that is once again like back and forth consistently, still keeping each other at the best that they possibly can. Like that is probably about as good as you could ask for. Things are going to become a little bit more dangerous as time goes on here. Seems like right now it's not looking too good for them. Things are becoming a little bit more dangerous. as they're all slowly inching their way forward. I do like how Prosper is playing a little bit closer. He's not showing himself so far because the last time that we saw somebody playing over there, they were in the corner and both Gronky and Ink were able to at least get good damage on them. But this time they're playing a little bit more passively. They are going to check that anyway, though. The damage numbers will be telling of who's back there. And now they do know that they forced someone out and away from their comfort zone.
Wow,
Oh,
what a
wow.
Ronin knife coming out of Ink. My goodness. And he's going to get the full kill and get out. Oh, man, that was an amazing play right there. No bounce state going to be down in him, but it's going to be down in his teammate Gronky in the back, and that is their Dahlia revive. Somebody else is going to need to get him, not Ink. Ink is already in a good position guarding the front. Ink is able to take out one, and that's their Dahlia link. Man, oh man, Justus is making this round look very clean, even though it's slow and methodical. Right now, Slop is in the back behind them, though, hitting the flank. He's going to have to deal with all these players of Justus now. That's going to be much harder to deal with than he presumed. Does have the Ronin knife, not able to land it, though. Now only the Dahlia remains for this squad. She gets taken out just like that. One more. 4-3 at halftime. Right, Turtle? Let's see how their offense is looking.
Yeah, let's see how they change things up. As right now, it is looking very, very interesting. 4-3, ties all around the board, all the way up until this point. They are going with the Dahlia and Ronin. I'm actually so interested about why Emmis decided to stick with the Dallas pick in that scenario despite not having the reveal. I don't think it was worth it. Instead, I would have liked to see maybe a Trench actually try and come through to see if they can lock things down just a little bit easier. I mean, like, I see it on the side of picks right now. They've decided to lock that in. They feel more comfortable having that character there, and that makes sense. But I am curious. Are they going with the Dallas again? They are indeed going with the Dallas again. I don't see that. And this is actually worse for them, I think, because it's on attack now, right? So there are going to be times where they're going to try and clear out certain angles and look for something, and they won't be able to find it. Because if they're holding angles, they're just not going to end up being revealed.
No, you're completely right. You can see, ooh, the Dahlia did link with the Trench, so that means 3 players actually will get revealed. That's actually pretty interesting. I would almost definitely be linking with the Ronin early on. I guess that those double nades or double smokes will come in handy. So linking with the Trench does have some advantage to it. We just got to see exactly how these teams are going to be playing it out.
Yeah, it seems like right now things are becoming a little bit more interesting. I do like the drafts, though, despite the fact that Dallas was still drafted in. The reveal goes through, and it seems like right now they're at least trying to keep the pressure on Prosper. Not going to do too well. 64 HP remaining, but for the most part, they are going to wait a bit longer. They do get the bomb down, but this time they're playing together as a team. They're trying to make sure that they have the proper means of making sure they can properly defend the bomb plant.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And right now it's just going to be all about playing those little angles. You can see the Dallas, he is trying to make sure that he's got the backside covered. Trophies are going to be coming in. I think they're just going to try to straight up defuse it. And that might actually be the correct play. It sounds kind of wild, but it might end up working out if you can get the correct smokes in the right location. Ronin knife coming out as well. That's going to get it down on who's that. And yeah, I believe he's going to try to find one more. It's a 3v2. Delino wants to hop it, but they need to kill this player before they do that. One player already going to be on it. Oh my goodness, it was Gronky. He was so low. He just had him with one more bullet. Then they would have won the round. That is extremely unfortunate, but Justus going up 5-3.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been able to make it back in time if that was the case. They had 3 pushing, and Gronky just sitting there, still waiting, still chilling, like on the bomb. Once again, like, that is a very good bomb plant site because it forces people to have to push you. Because in a situation like that, you lose. Like, if you get downed or anything of the sort, you do end up actually losing that. And I think that that's kind of crazy to me that he wasn't able to find that last shot. Of course, I mean, things happen. You still have plenty of rounds to actually work with. But, man, what a clutch that would have been.
But yeah, big time. Now we got to see exactly which bomb site that they're going to be opting to go to now. Looks like it is going to be another A push coming out of this Right Turtle squad. I said that they looked good on offense, but hey, listen, that most likely was not when there was a Ronin on the map, and that is a big difference maker, is if you know how to play around this non-Ronin mentality and then come into the Ronin meta, it's going to be extremely difficult to find some success, and that might be the issue that they're finding today.
Yeah, seems pretty interesting right now. As the barbed wire still in the back pocket of Trench, still waiting to utilize it at an opportune time. As things are seeming to stall out. Ink is on the flank though, and I don't think they know that because Ink is literally all the way behind them. There's only 3 there. Like, I don't think they actually know that he's back there because the minute they actually retreat from that high ground, they are going to run into Ink, and Ink's going to pop them. Yeah, he's already got one of them.
Yeah, and that means that the whole team, look at them all turning around just for Ink.
Yeah, they have to.
And he's able to finish that one player. Wow, now it's going to be 2. He was able to down another in slop. Got to wide swing this. Be ready for it.
Oh,
no.
wow.
My goodness, Justus Roco off the backs of
Yeah.
the Ink flank. We're able to find success. That right there is just a beautiful play coming out of Ink. Tons of patience.
Yeah, 6-3 so far with this defusal actually going through. It is not looking like a good game right now for Right Turtle. It has been a struggle. Them trying to find their footing. On the side of defense, they were able to tie things up, but now it is looking like Justus Roco are running away with it. A great flank from Ink, and this is exactly why I would think that not only should you just have one person playing further back, but I think that more than anything, the Dallas is just not the play here. And that's nothing to say about Right Turtle, nothing to say about Prosper, MS, Slop, Who's That, none of them at all. But I just don't think that the Dallas has the proper value here. And that's part of the reason why, is because they wouldn't have known, like, even if they didn't have Dallas, they would have had a different intel character, wouldn't have mattered. They wouldn't have known that Ronin was behind them anyway. And that's kind of what makes it a bit more of a problem for them. Makes them have to second guess themselves a lot more often.
Oh no, you're completely correct about that. Oh man, you barely able to down him. Was Ink, and now it's going to be a 2v2 situation. We're able to down the Trench. Is that going to get revived though? Yes, it was, but he got re-downed immediately and finished off. So 2v1 now for Gronky. Is he going to be able to do it? He pulls out the Sahara, but no. Slop gets the best of him right there. 6-4 now. As Right Turtle starting to make this comeback slowly but surely.
They do indeed get themselves another point. The first one we've seen this half for Team Right Turtle, 4-6, as Right Turtle just finished off that round. I wonder if that is what they're looking for here, is the bomb site. Is it just a little bit too difficult for them to have to play on one as opposed to the other? Maybe their best bet is properly utilizing the advantage that they have with such an open site like that. You might have to try and play around the open site. You might have to just try and utilize B side as best as you can. And that's what it seems like they're actually going to go for here.
Yeah, and I like the play. Honestly, I think that their age has not been where it's at. So why not try B, like you said? And Kestrel coming out, going to be down in Who's. But that's already going to be 2 players down. You got to go for this revive. You can see he's already wary of the flank. He does not want to get killed reviving that player, as hand-resing is so dangerous in certain situations, including that one. Ink gets it down onto Emes. Are they going to find the full kill? No, he has 4 HP on top in the smoke, and he finally gets taken out. They're going to be getting another revive and take out Gronky in the process. 6-5 now. Right Turtle looks solid on that B push, just like you said.
Oh, is it the B side? Is that what it is? Has that been the crux that they've needed this entire time? Perhaps that might be what Right Turtle needs, because so far those were 2 very quick rounds, a statement I had used previously for Justus Roco during this current half. 2 back-to-back rounds were looking really, really strong for Justus Roco beforehand, and this is where it sort of goes awry. Ink rolls out to try and see if he can fight. He rolls through the ensign, rolls out into the open, and the roll goes too far, right? Like, he took way too much damage and then ends up getting picked. It was dope that he was at least able to get a kill on the way in, but it seems like Justus are having a genuinely difficult time trying to defend, and they still aren't, like, they're not really on B side. They're not on B side at all. They think they're going A.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they thought they were going A, especially when B just worked for them, but you know, Nade coming out, not going to be able to full kill Slop. So Slop is going to be feeling very comfortable on this Ronin on that box right there. You see Ink pulling out the knife, trying to find something. All right, I think he heard that player run away, so he's not going to be using it. Just watching this middle rotation. This Justice squad, they've already taken 15 seconds, and they're just trying to figure out where everyone is at right now.
Just picking the nades. We're trying to keep things a little bit more prevalent. MS manages to make it through. That stem shot made a huge play. They get picks, they get MS. Delena is the next one that falls. That's going to be 2 down, and one of them currently revived. They're still trying to keep everybody alive. Who's that? Slop finds so many different kills. I don't know what the play was here. Why go A? B has now worked out for them 3 times now. And they haven't even really been able to defend like at all. Like, I'm curious, why do that? Such an interesting play from them.
Yeah, big time. Leaving the site wide open, honestly, you should never do that, especially at A. Just because if you can get a plant down, most likely you could see it all the way from your spawn. So I completely agree with you. I think they definitely need to send at least someone over there, but, you know, opting to not do it, opting to play the 50-50, thinking that they're all going to go A, but no, they got jebaited. Now we're going back to the B site yet again, 3 in a row. They're looking to make it 4, then potentially 5 and in the game.
And right now, they do actually manage to make it in, trying to hold the angle. Drops down the Halo drones as well. Already a good look. Slop taking a fight for too long, just a little bit. And they aren't going to actually be able to do much here. They do find the kill on MS. That is one confirmed dead. As now Right Turtle have to play extremely carefully.
Yes, 100%. Dahlia does drop. Another one dropped.
Wow.
2v2 situation.
That is absolutely insane.
Oh yeah,
You have to
Dahlia's
be really
by
careful.
herself now. And Justus got all the revives, so it's a 1v3. Dahlia does have the bomb, though. That is the one thing to her advantage. So, you know, looking at this one right now. Ooh, man, that nade. I thought that bounce nade might actually do something on one of those players. Smoke going to be coming out. That's the best way to run away. Throw a smoke and then hide in it because there's no fixer on the map. Oh, my gosh, they're right next to each other. I don't know if he's going to realize it. He went back down. Here we go.
Let's see if he can escape. Once again, Prosper tries to win the fight and can't quite find it there. Instead, he is going to get picked off. 7-6. It is managing to round itself out. It's Justus on set point here in the winners bracket finals. They could send Right Turtle to losers.
Exactly. All it is one more demo round. That's all that matters right here. And I gotta say, man, this is where your palms start to get sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. We've heard it before. Now, yeah, exactly. We've heard it before. Now it's time to really show it out. Wipe that sweat on your pants and get this thing going, man. Simple as that. No time for shaky shots whatsoever. As this team right now, they do not want to go down. Like 2 rounds decides it, guys. This is map number 5. Right Turtle has to win 2 rounds in a row. Like this is major right here. This is one of the biggest rounds of Row Company we've ever had.
They did send someone off to the side over there. As you see, who's that? I believe did hear that somebody was near him, but didn't quite take the fight. They are rotating over. And if I were them, I would just play as passively as possible. Actually, no, they're not going to. Who's that is going to try to see if he can cement himself on the site. They're using so much in playing by mid. They have no idea that who's that is on the objective now. He has such a good angle and has covered so much that they have no idea. They don't know that they're on the other side, and they'll be able to get the bomb down. No problem.
That's massive, man. That is huge. He's going to get out, have it planted for their spawn. That's major for Slop. Now it's just going to be all about this retake coming out of Justus. 4v4 situation. We know that they're one of the best in doing it. Nade coming out, not going to be landing. Gronky did dodge that one. And oh man, such a tense situation with all these players. Smoke coming out, players up top. Gonna be getting that trade. Ink and who's that? Each finding a kill. Slop getting another one though. No Dahlia Link coming on the side of Justus, but there is one for Right Turtle, and that flipped every tide on its head. It's gonna be a 3 versus 1 now, as it is only the Dahlia left alive. She's low and she is gonna drop. We got ourselves a 7-7 game 5. Oh my goodness. Like what we could not ask for in the winners bracket finals. It comes down to 1 round. One of these teams will be securing top 2 with 1 round, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're ready.
that that knife was good, but Immis flanking around from like what? Like look at where Immis wasn't back there a couple seconds ago. Him having the presence of mind and his team holding on to those fights, that won them the game. Like Immis going around in the back right there, absolutely won them the game. They were going to lose that fight because Slop had gotten downed or literally was about to go down. If Immis didn't pop up behind them, that absolutely would have been the round, and they would have been in losers bracket here. What a good play from them.
Exactly, a very smart strategy coming. Oh no, I was about. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was gonna do it, bro. Just throw a nade off the roof. That wasn't even a bounce nade. That's a normal nade. If he attempted that and it worked, I would have quit, man. I would have said, you know what, it's over, man. They mastered Rogue Company at this point. They're throwing nades off the ceilings. I'm good. I'm hanging up the stick. Simple as that. I'll stick to casting. If they're hitting nades off roofs, it's time for me to put the sticks away. Knife going to be coming out from Ronin, but she's going to get taken out in return. That's major for Right Turtle. That's 2 full kills, and they're going to get the Dahlia res on their Ronin. So now it is all up to Gronky and company to make this 2v4 happen, but Pixie drops. Gronky gets shot in the back, and Right Turtle are going to be moving on to your grand finals yet again.
The reason why I'm so shocked by that is the fact that Ronin had nothing but a better opportunity to try and see if they could come, like, they were rotating off. They heard the rotation. Delana gets the down. Delana loses the next fight after that. Ronin jumps out of the window, tries to see if they can keep the pressure on them from behind, and loses the fight to Slop despite having the ballistic knife and everything. That is absolutely worst case scenario. They lose 2 almost instantly off of a rotation. Don't even need to plant the bomb. They have the numbers advantage now. All they did after that point was just keep the pressure on. That's absolutely crazy. That was so well played.
100%. The fact that they needed to win 2 rounds back-to-back breach offense, that is so difficult to do. And, you know, we're coming back all the way to the highlights from the Palace. We saw Pixie. He was going crazy with this sniper, as, you know, we've seen him do so many times. It doesn't matter what map it's on. He feels comfortable with the sniper in his hands.
Yeah, I mean, like, that was, once again, like, you playing that as well as they did. I mean, it was a really back and forth game all day. Like, really, really back and forth in terms of these winter brackets finals. And that's only the first match for today that we've actually, the first set it is that we finished, going the distance, going to a game 5. That is absolutely insane. What a wonderful opportunity to be able to witness that, man. I mean, both of these teams really gave it their all, from Windward to Breach to Palace in the beginning. Start off on Palace, tied things up at Palace, and then ended everything on Breach. Right Turtle do take this as they take it down to the final round. I mean, like, that is round 15. Like that is absolutely crazy, man. I mean, I am so impressed by all the play it is that we've seen so far, only in the first set of the day.
Yeah, exactly. It's an action-packed show so far for sure. Man, you see that beautiful layout of the series. 8-6 for Justus Roco on Palace, 2-0 sweep for Right Turtle on King of the Hill, followed by an 8-4 Right Turtle win, then a 2-0 sweep for Justus in King of the Hill Palace, and then it all ended on the Breach Demolition in 8-7 fashion. I gotta say, round 15, it was just as exciting as we figured it would be.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, like, that is, wow, what a play that we saw on Breach. There were a couple plays there that really sort of changed things out. I loved how they adapted. That ain't no time like the present. That's like the best way how you can actually phrase that. The best time to adapt would be the closest opportunity that you can get to being able to win. Them changing up their strategy the very last second. Immis flanking around during round, I believe it was 13, like score 7-6, trying to see if you can keep that pressure on them. I mean, like, that is absolutely insane to be able to see that, fam. Or round 14, round 14, I believe. Overall, keeping so much pressure on them and doing such a good job overall with making sure they catch out this dub. I mean, that's so well played by Right Turtle.
Yeah, they played that extremely well. And a little bit of an update for you guys. So there was a little bit of a shocker, actually, in the losers bracket today. The team of Coolin, with Elvin, Galaxy Haitian, Kaons, and Sinmade, they took out Bullville this morning, guys. They took out Bullville. That team, Cannibals, Key, Silhouette, and Class just took, oh my God, just took a loss to Coolin. That is major. Coolin is now top 4. And
Yeah.
guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Coolin now is going to be playing against Justus. Oh my
Wow.
goodness, that is going to be insane. What an upset from them. Shout out to Coolin making that top 3 for the first time for all of those players. None of them have ever been in the top 3. So this is a major step for all of their Rogue Company careers, and I could not be more excited for them.
Yeah, I can't be more excited for them either. I mean, like that is a tall order and a big order. That's a wow. Like they have their work cut out for them coming into these next few matches, man. I am super surprised about all of this, really, and super excited to see how the future matches are going to be.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much action that we're gonna go see to be able to watch. The cool thing is we haven't seen Coolin all weekend. Honestly, we haven't casted them all weekend, and they've been slowly grinding,
Yeah.
making it through the bracket. They took an early loss, went down to losers, and they have made the losers run of a lifetime to get back to this place right here. So listen, guys, you guys don't want to go anywhere. We're gonna have Coolin going up against Justus Roco right after this break.